How's everybody doing today? You guys excited? We're what? 9 days away now? Holy hell. Holy hell. Did you guys break shit yesterday? Sleepless nights in 9 days. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got a bunch to chat on today. We're going to be chatting on a bunch of stuff. I kind of gave some teasers there in the announcement, but there will be much more. But some big key ones will be kind of the phase 3 airdrop, new Twitch drops. We're going to share more about the Quest ecosystem. We're going to talk about some pretty big decisions we've made on the token side. So some very big alpha there for you guys that'll be coming. And yeah, this stress test, by the way, should be offline now. Awesome. Yeah, it is offline. Thank you guys so much for anyone who did participate in that stress test. It went incredibly smoothly. A lot of the bugs that were found were bugs that were just from like us merging stuff for the regional channel system that things for phase 3 aren't merged yet. So we're very happy about that most of the bugs found were things that we're not really worried about because they won't be an issue for phase 3. And the regional channel system itself went very good. There were some users with issues, and thank you for reporting those. We've documented all of them, and the team is hard at work to get all those fixed. But nothing came up that was like, oh, this structurally won't work, or we're going to have a huge issue with this and it needs to be completely redone, which is really what matters. A lot of bugs can be fixed, even if they're very annoying ones, like not being able to log in or whatever. A lot of those can be fixed very quickly. And not having to do structural, fixes or rebuilds is really what you're hoping for. And we didn't have anything like that come up. So that's very exciting. It means we're just like one gigantic step closer to global release. This was a system we were probably the most concerned on having to be like redone because it was a lot of work. This is a system that like a lot of really modern games just don't have. It's not a simple thing to build out. And it's a very special system. And we saw it yesterday with the amount of players from Southeast Asia or South America, like, holy crap, dude, the game is, I'm just like, it is so responsive now. Cause they got used to playing on higher ping, right? For South America, many were, 100 to 200. Southeast Asia, many were in like the 300s. And now they're like, holy crap, this feels amazing. And so, very important step for us and very big for the launch. And so with that, guys, with the stress test being offline, what that means is that we will be soon wiping phase 1 and phase 2. We will also be wiping land. So you will be reclaiming your land before phase 3. We'll have details about that quite soon. But yeah, things went incredibly smooth. So actually, yeah, you know what? Maybe we leak a little bit of alpha on the land sale. Would you guys like that? Should we do that? Should we drop a little bit of alpha there? By the way, we might be in for the most amazing altcoin season timing of all time with our release. I also think like meme coins are definitely getting to the point that the community is pretty like over it. Even the ones that were like in deep on meme coins are getting pretty over it, especially with like the new like pump fund data that's been released where it's like, what was it, like 97% of people never make more than $1 and actually lose money or something. Like it was something insane. And because in the end of the day, like the person who creates the coin, it's like the craziest house odds you've ever seen. And there's really no substance there. Right. And I think people are kind of getting over it. And just, no, I don't need to get into that because some people will get upset, but ultimately, I think we're going to see like the most perfectly timed swing of people that are now interested in crypto because of meme coins, right? Which does have a huge benefit, right? It brings a lot of new people in. And then they're going to start looking at like, okay, I had my fun. This was all hilarious. But this is kind of interesting stuff. Now I'm going to look at stuff with actual substance. And I think the timing is actually going to be just absolutely cracked for RavenQuest and our release and what that all means. Yeah, I think it's just picture perfect. And even with like, obviously people just kind of getting over meme coin stuff to some degree, obviously there's still tons of interest in it. But it is people are starting to be like, okay, this is kind of weird. but also just, I mean, shit with Pump Fun right now is insane. Like the stuff going on, like I would not be surprised if some regulation steps in soon here or something happens. But it's kind of like a streaming platform, like when, you know, early days of Twitch or anything like that, where shit just gets really crazy and they have to like really take a step back, you know? But I think we're kind of just hitting the perfect timing. So make it December 17th for my birthday. Yeah, I kind of leaked a date already. I'm not going to confirm or deny if that's related to the land sale, but I did kind of leak a date already that some detectives have figured out here. You don't want that. The first land sale was on my birthday and I was heartbroken. Had whitelisted and didn't get one. Yeah, the reality is vast majority of people never got anything on our last land sale. That's why we're very excited that we do have an additional land sale still coming, where people will be able to grab that. Again, we had over 6,000 people on the applications that were like quality applications, and still only 200 of those were selected. But again, it means the world to us, guys. We're very confident what we're building and what we're building around our land and around our Quest ecosystem. We're going to share more today about that. We've shared quite a bit, but we're going to continue to share more on that. We're very confident, and our goal, guys, our goal is that our token, our land, there is no collection and no token that provides more one-to-one value to people that are involved in it. And to us, that isn't us collaborating with 100 different projects to get their random crap that no one actually cares about. Really, you know, you see a lot of projects with a collection and they're just constantly dropping these random things that really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But looking at actually like high quality things that we can deliver. And a lot of that comes from ourselves, right? We've been open about it. There's some projects in the space that we like a lot. We're actually working on some really big collaborations with a few of them right now for release. We're really structuring everything to lead up to release there. But these are projects that we very much like ourselves and think are high quality projects and ones that we're happy to share about and attach our name to. But we get reached out to every day by every project, and we just turn down 99%. And in the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're attached to very high quality projects, and whatever comes your guys' way is like freebies and benefits are attached to those high quality projects. But on top of that, I think a lot of that comes from our side. How can we build up that value? And that's why we talked in the last AMA a lot about the future kind of ecosystem, about how Quest originally was RavenQuest token. And we decided that this is going to be basically a studio token for everything we do in Web3 moving forward, bringing it way more utility, way more syncs, way more longevity for the future. We think that's the way to do it. And when I talk about this, I don't mean like little like Flappy Bird type games. We've seen that with some projects where they're like, we're going to bring an ecosystem of games in, and they're all like these like ridiculous, like one man made games that are going to get like 6 players. We're talking about like serious titles. That's really what we want to do. And yeah, at the end of the day, yes, sir. You can already cross off one. There's already a few winners here. Just drove by this mess. Oh, geez. All right. I always love doing this. Where are you guys all here from? Where are you guys all, what country are you from? Where are you guys residing in? Turkey, Brazil, Romania, America, Florida, land of the crackheads. Yes, sir. I gotta say, okay, sorry. I know people hate it when I talk about anything other than just alpha. But I do it. It's an AMA. Come to the streams if you don't want me to ramble. But we were booking flights for Brazil and yesterday, or we were like preparing like the travel plans for Brazil. And we wanted to stop in Florida on the way because you like literally fly over it, right? Like that usually the path from West Coast Canada is you fly over kind of to Atlanta, Montreal, and you go over Florida down to Brazil. And flights, if you want to book like a flight to Florida, taking the same route, right? Like Atlanta, Florida, and then Florida, Brazil, and then back. Like, so like, where we live, which is Kelowna, BC, so West Coast Canada, to Atlanta, to Florida, Florida to Brazil, and then Brazil back to Canada. And you basically take the same route back, right? But if you want to book that, it is almost double, like very close to double the price than flying that exact same route to Brazil and back. It's just as soon as you add a stop where you're like there for a couple days, suddenly airlines are like, oh, we're going to milk these fuckers. And I'm actually so livid because we have a bunch of people that we wanted to meet up with in Florida. And it is like, for the 5 of us traveling, it will be like a lot of money extra. And it just sucks. It's so annoying. It's like we're taking the same flights. The only difference is we're in Florida for a couple. Yeah, you pay the extra fees because of Disney and Universal, but it's not even that. Like, it would be virtually the same price for us to fly from where we are, like from West Coast Canada, to Florida and back, and then to Brazil and back, as it would be to just do that stopover in Florida, which makes no sense to me. Like, you're flying the same amount and it's like double the price, and you can fly pretty much double the amount for the same price. Makes no sense to me. I hate airlines. I hate all that kind of stuff. Sao Paulo to Fort Lauderdale. Are you doing that flight right now? Oh my God. I don't think I have the balls for that. I remember doing one of those, like, I don't remember what they're called, but basically where like the ocean comes in Hawaii into like a swimming area, like it like flows over the rocks. And they were basically like, okay, during these times, like you can't be in there because the current is so strong that it'll pull you out and basically hit you against a rock till you're dead. And so they're like, yeah, don't go during these times. And I remember we were in it for like an hour and one wave came in, and like, you don't think how strong waves are until you get hit by a really strong wave. And I remember it hit over the rock. So it comes in like chill, like splashes in. And then we saw the tide like go out and pull, and like everyone went like 20 feet to the wall within like a couple seconds. And it was like, holy shit. Like, it can happen so quick and you like fall down an area and then you're basically screwed. And it's crazy, man, how, I also had similar where when I was in Hawaii years ago, this was like a decade ago, went on like a family trip there, and it was my dad's like favorite place in the world was Hawaii. And we went on a family trip there, and I remember being in the ocean, and I was like pretty far out, and one wave hit me and just like pulled me straight underwater, and I like hit a rock super hard. And I remember like I hit my leg really hard. So I was like, oh my God. Like, I was like having kind of a hard time swimming because of how I just like numbed my leg and everything. And I remember trying to like swim against the current with like a bum leg. And I was like, oh, I might just be out here for good. I might just be one with the ocean now. But yeah, it's crazy how strong water is, man. Hell yeah. Quest after bull run. Let's fucking go. I'll probably pass on. Yeah. That's beautiful though. We have a lot of spots like this in Canada too. Actually, we have a lake pretty close to us. Matt and Drew can attest to this too. It's like half an hour from us, off the highway. But it is like a lake. You sometimes see this with like small ponds and stuff. But this is like a huge, huge lake. And this is not Photoshop. This is like you drive by it, and if it's certain lighting of the day, it looks like this. And it's there are some Photoshopped images that I'm skipping here. But it is a crazy, crazy cool lake. It's because of it's called Kalamalka Lake, if anyone wants to look it up. Why is it green? There's a reason. It's because of calcium carbonate and limestone left by the glaciers forms crystals that reflect the sunlight. But it is like you drive past it a lot if you're like taking the highway pretty much anywhere, and or outside of where we live. And there's some days you drive by and you're like, this is just impossibly beautiful. And it's like a boater's lake and swimming and all that kind of stuff. It's a beautiful lake. Like you sometimes see like little water reservoirs that are like that, but to see a whole lake that's like that is pretty beautiful. Oh man, that hiking looks amazing. When lake, I mean leak. Okay, we'll get into leaks. So we have a big video coming out. Again, the team's been working very hard on it. We ended up making it a lot longer than we expected, because we really wanted to dig into like a lot of systems. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to just basically leak the whole script. Okay. I'm going to basically leak everything that was talked about in it. So that you guys get a first leak here, and then the video can be for everybody else. But I'm just going to go ahead and just leak it all. Okay. Does this lake freeze? Yeah, Kalamalka definitely freezes. I'm pretty sure like people actually like skate on it and stuff. There's like a lot of snow here, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know. It snowed a lot the last 2 days here. Yeah, so certain bays of it will freeze up, but not usually the entire lake. Sorry, it's not that lake that they usually skate on. It's the lake that's closer to the other city near us. There's like so many lakes here. Like we're just surrounded by lakes and mountains basically. And like huge lakes too. Like Okanagan Lake is our main lake. It's a very deep lake. Yeah, it's the eighth largest lake in our province. It's 361 square kilometers and it's 110 kilometers long. It's a huge lake. Here, I'll send a photo. I'll send a photo for you guys here. Here you can kind of see it. So that's like the bridge that connects to our city. This is like where two of the lakes basically touch. Started with leak, now it's lake. Yeah, we roll with the punches, This is obviously slightly filtered image, but here you can kind of see our city is like the back area of that. This is like across the lake. There's like a lot of orchards and vineyards and stuff. And you can see our city's like in the back there, very small there. Yeah, it might be like a rendering, but I can attest that this is basically, or this is correct. It's just, but it could be like a really strong filter or like a AI rendition of it. But yeah, no, we live in a very beautiful area. We're very lucky. Me, Matt, and Drew, we've grown up here and lived here most of our life. I moved here when I was like 14, or my family did. But we lived in like a very small city a few hours away growing up. At the time, it had like 4,000 people. So like the first 12, 13 years of my life, I lived in a really small city. I have family in Princeton. Yeah, let's go. How big is the city population wise? Our city is, I think it's like 120,000 residents, but then the population goes up to like 200K during the summer because it's like the number one tourist destination in like, it probably is the number one tourist destination in Canada, like per capita. Like people come from all across Canada in the summer here because it's just like lakes, boating, hot as shit. So yeah, the city blows up in the summer. It's actually like kind of annoying too, because we have like very little traffic most of the year. And then during the summer, it's just chaos. Every road is just busy as hell and it gets crazy. And the same with like restaurants. Like during the summer, everything is packed. And then during the winter, it's like all really slow. I'm in Kelowna, not Kamloops. However, my oldest friend from when we were 5, he lives in Kamloops. So I go there every once in a while to see him. Like that in Montana, yeah. Yeah, it's good, right? It's good to have a tourist industry, but it also can suck when it gets crazy busy. It also makes stuff really expensive here at times too. That's really the only con to where we live is it's expensive. And it's tough when you grow up somewhere and you don't want to leave, right? Yeah. A lot of like famous people buy homes here, like a lot of professional like hockey players. Oh my God, what's his name now? What's his name? Elton John. He has like a home here. There's like a million other famous people that have homes here. Yeah. Are you childhood friends, Drew, Matt? So I've known Drew lightly. He's a few years younger than me, so I didn't really know him when I went to high school. We went to the same high school. I played rugby though with his older brother. And then the way that I know Drew is we started playing football together about a decade ago now. Something like that, or at least like 8 years ago. And so I've known him from football for a long time. And I met Matt through Drew a few years ago. Matt lightly worked with us on marketing stuff on like paid UA and stuff a few years ago. And he's just continued to grow his role into where now, or for a while now, he's been full time with us and has continued to climb through the company. I made him look real good on the football field. He owes me big time. This is not entirely false. For anyone who doesn't know, Drew is a impossible freak of an athlete who is also probably the most injury prone person you've ever met in your entire life. I'm talking like he came back to play in spring season after a million injuries. I kept him out for a long time. And like the second game back, Drew, what we were playing in, there's like a cross Canada tournament that happens for football here, American football, by the way, that happens here in our city. In May, and it was like the third play of the game, you like snapped a finger again, just catching the ball. Incredible athlete, but also the most injury prone person I've met in my entire life. but yes, he has made me look very good on the field many times. All right, let's get into some stuff, guys. Maybe I shouldn't go skydiving then. Well, as long as the chute works, but if the chute doesn't work, like, yeah, you're in trouble, right? That's just the reality. But I don't think that's going to matter if you're injury prone or not. That's why they have the backup chute that we sabotage, right? Just adds a little more risk, a little more. It's not fun if there's no risk, right? Total side direction here. How did the stress test go? Did the team reserve more bugs or less than anticipated? Yeah, I actually talked about this at the start of the stream, but really quick recap because we have way more people here than at the start. It went incredibly smooth. Issues were found. A lot of the issues that were found that players had was just because the stress test was around the regional channel system. Some phase 3 things were loaded in, but not all of them. So some of the issues were just because it was like half loaded in on that side. But in terms of the regional stress test, there were some users that had issues, but structurally the system worked incredible. And that's what we were most concerned with, right? Like if someone can't connect because of something, okay, we can fix those things. Most of them are very quick fixes. But seeing that the structural system itself didn't have like some obvious huge just flaws that just didn't work is huge. That's huge because it means we don't have to spend like a month rewriting the system and rebuilding it from the ground up. And so that's very exciting for our side. We were definitely internally celebrating just how smooth it was. Bug distribution awards, guys. We had like thousands of bug reports. And I like 90% of them are like duplicates and stuff like that. So this is going to be a lot of sorting on the QA team. So we don't have like an ETA to when those will be distributed. Their goal right now is to first and foremost make sure those bugs get fixed for phase 3, right? So QA is going to be sorting through them, making sure duplicates are timestamped properly so that the first person to report them get the credit. But ultimately, like their first goal is making sure that these get to the development team, fixed, re-QA'd, retested before phase 3. But those rewards, they're obviously tied to phase 3, and so they will be distributed before rewards from phase 3 go out. But just so you guys know, this is not like they're going to be like distributed tomorrow, because right now we need to be like full focus on getting all this fixed for phase 3, because we are like 9 days away, which is not a lot of time. Shawaki, did you report it? If you report it, we should be good. Thank you so much, man. Timing and quality of report doesn't really matter. So like those are separate, right? So the rewards will be based on like biggest critical bugs found, right? So the biggest bugs will get the biggest rewards, the biggest bugs found, and then it'll be in order of who reported it. And we obviously have to do this because otherwise someone could report a bug and tell their 20 friends to all report it too, and they would all be like getting the same reward. Obviously we can't do that. And so it is for whoever reported it first, and then based on the size of the bug, right? So if someone's like, oh, when I click this, it pops up one extra button than it should, or like that's not like going to be a massive report. It's going to get a reward, of course, but it's not going to get like the top reward. But if someone's like, oh, if I like jump between these 3, my entire land disappears. Well, boom, that's going to be a big, that's kind of how we look at it. Basically, what's the impact? Oh, Drew will be skydiving because of our last land sale selling out. Okay. So let's drop some stuff here. I'm going to lightly read through what the video is. But one thing I want to say first, phase 3 is our biggest phase and biggest update yet in a lot of ways. The amount that we are bringing into phase 3, I hope shows you guys how insanely hard our team works and what we've had to do to make this happen. We are a big studio, we are like multiples bigger than projects out there that are evaluated at like 500 million right now. We are quite a large studio and we are very dedicated to what we are building. And we working exceptionally hard, and the team is very streamlined, very to the point. And phase 3, you guys will see the update log and be like, holy shit. This is gigantic. But with that, we have some, groundbreaking new systems that are coming in phase 3, which we talked about, and an improved airdrop model, which we'll talk about here. Many gameplay improvements. A lot of you guys saw some of them yesterday already. I know a lot of you guys loved the increased movement speed, the instant mounting, stuff like that. But ultimately, this phase takes us one step closer to our rapidly upcoming global release of RavenQuest. And I really mean that. In the end of the day, it's important that this phase goes well, and that we find as many issues as possible and hopefully as few issues as possible, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to determine our global release. We obviously have like internal timelines that we want to do and internal ideas, but ultimately it really comes down to how phase 3 goes. Regional channel system was definitely the one that we are most concerned on. That could be like, if it's structurally not good, that it will require a ton of time. So that milestone is really nice to see that is not the case. To be clear, like, the stress test we did yesterday, it's still a lot less players than phase 3. I mean, not a lot of warning for it. It's on a weekday, but it was very important. I don't know. I have my headphones on, but ultimately, now it's so weird because I hear myself. But ultimately, the stress test doesn't compare to how many players we'll have on phase 3, and so at the end of the day, new problems might come up with that amount of players, but it was really important for us to do just a preliminary test and find any kind of issues there. Question, the rarity of Raven cards was lowered a lot, or was it really a bug? If anything changes with that, it would be in the devlog. I don't think anything was changed on that. Oh, you're talking about the adventure packs. Yes, so I can talk about the adventures packs. We'll have a devlog on this. I talked about it lightly yesterday in our cozy AMA that we had. But essentially the adventures packs, basically we were toying around with different ideas because you get a lot of packs early in the game, and we need to make sure that players can't just make a bunch of accounts to farm these packs, right? Because they're going to be like, cards will be NFTs. And so what instead we did is we made these early packs adventure packs, and they're tailored a little bit differently. So they have a higher chance of getting you a card based on a skill you have. So what that means is there's a higher chance that you will get cards that you can just use right away, which I think is very important and great. But then as well as that, they do have a lower chance at higher rarities. And this is just to make sure that we avoid the concern of, people making a bunch of accounts, leveling up to level 10, getting like 10 really quick packs, or even more, they get like 14, and that kind of loophole. That's super important. Again, that's a huge focus for us constantly through this, is how do we make sure that these things can't get abused, right? Because like, unlike in Raven Dawn, cards aren't tradable in Raven Dawn, right? So that's not a concern. In RavenQuest, they are. So we need to make sure that we consider those things as well. So those are adventure packs, and then there'll be standard packs, which we will get from most of the same things, like with Dawn Essence and stuff like that. You'll buy standard packs. Oh, that's great. I got most cards of my skills. Yeah, exactly. So we haven't shared those changes yet. Obviously, that'll be in the full update blog. Again, I'm going to share a bunch of things that are coming, but I'm only scratching the surface. You guys will see the update log and you'll be like, holy shit, this is insane. We're very confident in that. But let's do some quick housewarming. Guys, thank you all for us winning Adventure Game of the Year. In the end of the day, like, this was very much a judge panel as well, but your votes did count towards it and mean the world to us. But ultimately, those judges, what they're looking for is, how are people speaking about the game, right? They're doing their deep dives. They're playing the game. They're asking people about how they saw the game, and they said it was just overwhelmingly exceptionally positive. They said to a level that they just hadn't seen. Again, there was only some categories that we could still get into with when we had our early access, but for us to win Adventure Game of the Year with such a short early access and virtually no marketing up to this point is insane. And it's really a testament of our adventurers, you guys, our community, how you guys love the game, how you're passionate about the game, how you share about the game. You guys really are the reason for that. And so it was kind of weird because I got a message from someone from our team. I'll just say Drew. And it was just a message like a few hours after the awards, and saying like, basically like, man, how does this feel? Like, this is your baby that you've built and the company you've built to get this. And it was very weird because I right away responded and I was like, I didn't really think of it that way. Because the first thing I did was obviously like with the staff, everyone was celebrating. We did an announcement and we did in the Discord, and it's weird. And this is probably a good thing, but probably I should also be like be a little bit, I don't know, but it's probably a good thing. But we, my first feeling wasn't even that it almost felt like I wasn't even a part of it. I was like, this is so exciting to reflect our community, to reflect our players, and to reflect our staff and their hard work. I never once really associated like I'm part of that everyone, if that makes sense. And that's probably a good thing that I have that feeling that it's not like I won an award or even that I was too much of a part of it. And that it was really just a reflection of the community and the team behind the project. And yeah, but like that message meant a lot because I was like, oh, like I should probably be also like, this is amazing. Like what a cool milestone. And one of many, like we, you know, I don't need to get into Dr. Disrespect because he has a million problems, but one quote that is, I actually think an okay quote from him is like, we're halfway up the mountain, or we're at the top of the mountain, but we're halfway up, or something like that. We're at the peak of the mountain, but we're only halfway up. And that's really how I see it for us as well. Like this was a huge milestone, but we have so much room and area that we can go. We're very confident that next year with our global release next year, the Game Awards, we will clean house on them. We're very confident in that. Again, we were very late entrants to this one. And we were like right before the cutoff for a couple categories. And ultimately the fact that we took home the one that we were in, do we know the final vote totals? I believe they do publish those later. To be humble with it. Yeah. I think it's a good thing. It's funny. Anyone who's seen the movie Coach Carter, I'm going to butcher this quote too, but there's like a scene where, the players are all getting like huge egos and he basically like goes on the bus or something, I think. And he basically, or he's in like I haven't seen the movie in a while, but it is a great scene where they like win the game and he basically starts like saying how like he came up with this play and he did that and that was my work and all that kind of stuff. And the players kind of went a little sour because they're like, well, no, like we were part of it as well. Like we made the play, whatever. And I think that's a great scene because a good leader should be always looking at like, this is what they did, not what I did. Even though you were a part of it, it reflects more on everyone putting in that work. Again, like at the end of the day, we're a very large studio. I am one part of that. And yes, while I have a big role, is my role bigger than any other person in the team and what they're doing? Absolutely not. Like everybody in the studio is better at something than I am. And they do their role better than I would, so from handshakes all around. Yes, sir. But there it is, Drew. But seriously, good movie and lots of values. Dude, Coach Carter is actually an incredible movie. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm not like a huge basketball guy at all, but it's a very good movie. God, now I want to watch that movie again. I have to fire that up soon here. All right, let's get back into it. Some exciting stuff for phase 3. As most of you guys know, it will be a full wipe. We have a lot of progression changes coming into the game when it comes to, again, phase 1 and phase 2 were accelerated progression to test like multiple parts of the game, including late game. Many people were like, oh man, it feels like we're not really getting a chance to like truly explore the world and we're skipping through stuff way too fast. That was intentional. You will notice that phase 3 will be much more like how global release will be. It'll be much slower paced. You get a lot more opportunity to really explore the world, explore every part, every spawn, all the things to offer, and not be flying through it. So it will be like a shift, a mindset shift. Don't expect to like log in and be level 40 in a day or something like that. It will be much slower, but much more true to the actual release. Yeah, that was one of the funniest things when I saw that in the War Show chat at the end of the day. Oh, that was so good. Do you guys have some big marketing plans for global launch? Yeah, I can talk about that. I leaked it just in chat. Let me share that. I'm able to share it too. So, okay, let me rapid fire some things that are coming in phase 3. Regional ambient music. So now every region in the game will have its own cozy ambient track. Also, we released all the tracks on YouTube. You can go listen to them there on our YouTube, RavenQuest game. But the only track that people didn't like, and it's pretty consistent, people didn't like it, was the Harbor Isle one. So I'm very excited to say that we have now a new Harbor Isle track. Team has been hard at work on it the last week, and we have a new track for that. So hopefully aligns with all the other tracks in the coziness that you guys are looking for. Increased base bank and inventory space we've talked about. Cards in rifts now will be equalized, giving everyone a 1-to-1 fair PvP opportunity. So your level, your skills, and your cards, everything is equalized. We have lots of areas in the game where things are not equalized. I mean, majority. Rifts are really the only one. Guild Wars, open world PvP, trade pack PvP, all that kind of stuff. And we have other stuff cooking, as we've mentioned, with Battlegrounds. These will not be equalized, but Rifts, we do want that to be an equalized experience. We may also be looking to somewhat change Rifts as well in the future to make them a little bit more interesting and maybe moving a little bit more of like the PvP element to more of an arena style. We've shared a little bit about that, but right now we want to make equalized cards in Rifts. And then we have some improvements to group hunting that you're all going to love. We have some oversupply changes. As mentioned, we doubled the amount of oversupply and reduced the amount of experience from crafting. So it kind of works out to a similar value, but ultimately we wanted to make sure that crafting wasn't as, like there was a lot of new players who were like, I've been playing since launch this morning and I'm this level and this guy's like almost double my level. And I like, how, right? And then they're like, someone's like, oh, it's because they're crafting. And they're like, well, I didn't know, like most people aren't used to crafting where you get experience from it. And so ultimately we wanted to adjust this so it wasn't as jarring to new people, but you still progress as a crafter. That's why the oversupply was doubled to allow you to craft more per day, but with reduced experience. And then we also increased the base movement speed by 20% when out of combat. People have really loved that. Instant mounting if out of combat as well. And again, just massive gameplay progression, balance changes. You guys will see in the dev blog. Changes to Aether Rifts, Aether Echoes especially. We have a new Aether ecosystem with different scroll rarities and stuff that makes for a much, much better system. You guys are going to really love that. It improves a problem where like high levels would kind of just sit in town and it was like a hub kind of experience, something like Diablo and stuff, which we did not want. We redid the trade pack or the trade route algorithm. So now that it actually truly calculates the true distance instead of just direct from point to point. So if you're running around a mountain, it's actually like considering the true distance. And then regional channels, as you guys know, play around the world with the fastest connection together. And now we're going to dig into more stuff here, but those were just the rapid fire ones. Raxa, absolutely. I think they already have those coming in phase 3. I'm not sure, but I know the new changes that are coming and they're pretty sick. You guys are very much going to love it. RavenQuest PUBG. Yeah, there's some really cool stuff that we have cooking. Will referrals still matter in official release or it's only for early access? They will still matter for official release. Yes, sir. Okay, let's get into the airdrop. This is what the people want. Oh, so again, we will have a full video that's breaking this down nicely with some, you know, visuals and stuff like that. But let's hold on. I have some other things to share too. So EXP distribution is being rebalanced in the stuff we're doing in game. Exactly. Yeah. All right, guys, let's dive into it. 11 days, 1 million quests per day up for grabs. Phase 3 starts December 5th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That is 2 hours prior to this time, and it will run until December 16th, 9 a.m. Pacific time. During this time, 11 million quest tokens will be distributed across several reward pools. We've taken your feedback to heart and reimagined our airdrop model to make it more inclusive and rewarding for all adventurers. Now let's talk about how you can earn quests in phase 3. So we will have multiple different ways that quests will be distributed in phase 3. We will have our traditional leaderboard rewards where you will be able to compete. So when I say traditional leaderboards, I'm talking about the gameplay rewards, so not gold-based rewards. It'll be the like legacy level, top professions, top rift wins, all those kind of things. And we will have a large quest pool for that. And then we'll also have 2 new gold-based airdrop pools. Okay. And you'll be able to earn up to 6 million quest tokens by accumulating gold through in-game activities. So you will obtain gold in very similar ways to phase 1 and phase 2. However, instead of it being just like purely leaderboard ranked, which to a lot of players was really a bummer for a lot of players, especially in phase 2, because a lot of people wanted to join for the airdrop and they were like, I can never get on the leaderboard, stuff like that. So we wanted to reimagine this and make sure that everyone that meets a minimum amount can participate in this. And then it is proportional to your effort. So essentially, you will now receive a portion of quest from the pool proportionally based on your progression in RavenQuest. So your amount of gold will be, will be tied into the amount of quests that you obtain. To avoid multi-account farmers and extractors, there will be a minimum amount of gold required to participate in the reward pool. This reward pool is split into two pools, with one of the pools applying your landowner and monk owner multiplies to maximize your rewards, and the other pool will not. The total reward pool will start at 3 million quests, growing by 30,000 quests for every 100 new adventurers that join phase 3, up to 3 million additional quests. We wanted to do something where we really encourage growth during phase 3 and new adventurers to come and participate. I will be transparent, okay? This goal is 10,000 new adventurers. We know we're going to smash that goal, but we wanted to do a little fun thing, right? New adventurers come in, the pool grows. So definitely share about phase 3 and stuff, and let's grow that reward pool. But I will be completely transparent. We're very confident in hitting that very quickly. But please share about phase 3 and let's grow that reward pool. Additionally, we will have a 2 million quest landowner pool. As you guys know, this is the same size of landowner pool that was for phase 1 and phase 2. And this will be the same size for just phase 3. So about half the duration, same size of pool. However, this pool has the potential to grow up to 4 million quests based on our upcoming land sale. With the small amount of land remaining, as we welcome new landowners, the rewards for existing landowners increase significantly, up to double. So essentially, the way this works out is the amount of land that is remaining is obviously way less than half. And so essentially the reward pool with new landowners coming in will grow. We thought this was very important because we wanted to make sure the landowners aren't like, oh, I don't want new landowners to come in. And ultimately with that land sale, the pool will go up to double for all landowners. Please limit the amount of echo scrolls people can do. Yeah, we talked about that lightly just a few minutes ago. Wait for the dev blog. That was 100% important for us to solve. We didn't want, RavenQuest to turn into like a hub game where you sit in town waiting to do echoes. And obviously just like nerfing the reward doesn't really solve that, because then it's like not worth doing, or it's worth doing and you just sit in town all day. So we made some radical changes to it. You guys are really going to like the new system. Yeah, it will, Bobby Drake. We talked about that at the beginning. It'll be like the global release. So phase 1 and 2, I believe, was like roughly 2 to 3 times faster. So you will notice it is significantly slowed down, but this is a good thing because a lot of players, their feedback was, I'm just like flying past content and I feel like I'm missing so much of the experience. And they were, right? Because they're flying past content. You'll have a much more opportunity to adventure and explore the world. You guys delivered the stress test, so we'll have a land sale before the 5th. Say yes, please. That is true. We did deliver something, which we always say like we want to deliver first, but we want to deliver phase 3 first. Yeah. Man, should we move it? I feel like a lot of people want the land sale for during phase 3, so they can be like using their land during phase 3, not just to like get the landowner pool. Yeah, man. Okay. Let me talk with the team. Okay. I'll share. I'll share now. While we're here leaking, we're dropping alpha, right? Might as well. What better time? Sorry, Mary and Vivs. Please don't yell at me. So our plan was actually to do the land sale for our remaining land on December 15th, the last or 24 hours before the end of phase 3. The reason why is we really wanted to give people an opportunity to try phase 3, see if it's something special to them, see if they believe in the product we're building, and then support us based on that, right? We've talked about it a lot, how we don't believe in the model of just throwing up, monetization constantly before delivering stuff. However, people seem to really prefer that we would do it not at the end of phase 3 and a time that they could actually really utilize it through a lot of phase 3. And so let me chat with the team and see what we can do. You also got to remember that like doing these kind of things, it's a lot of work on our side. And our focus is always first on the game, right? And that's probably not, or I can say for certain 99% of companies operate the opposite way. It's like, how do we make as much money as possible and then deliver the bare minimum? We're literally the opposite. So I got to make sure that we can make something like that happen earlier. Yeah. Let me chat with the team because you guys all really want it earlier. We wouldn't do it before phase 3. I'll say that right now. But maybe we do it, a few days after. Again, it's really important for us that we deliver a product and you guys play it and enjoy it and make sure that you want to be a part of it. I think that's really important when it comes to anything in Web3 as well. Like, we want people to want to support us because they believe in what we're doing and what we're delivering, not with the hope that we are able to deliver things and that we do things well. We want to show that up front. And so we want to make sure that you guys get an opportunity to play phase 3 and let our work speak for itself. It is a test phase in the end of the day, and we have a lot of new systems coming in, so there'll probably be bugs and stuff like that. But we want to show that what we've been able to do just since phase 1 and phase 2, or since phase 2, I should say. Okay. The next thing that we are very excited to share is the Guild War Tournament. Prepare for battle. A massive 300,000 quest tokens are up for grabs during the December 14th Guild War. All participating guilds will earn rewards, splitting a share of 100,000 quests, with victorious guilds receiving double the rewards portion of 200,000 quests. We've talked about our new guild model that will be coming in the near future. It won't be in for phase 3. We shared it last week in the AMA, but we are really working hard to make sure that guilds are still always an optional part of the game, but very strong community building around them and what your guild represents and what that means when the game releases. And so we are leaning very far into a lot of stuff with guilds. So if you're a solo player, don't worry. There won't be progression that you cannot be a part of without being in a guild, but we will definitely have some really cool stuff for people in guilds, people running guilds. The other exciting part is when it comes to the Guild War, there will be like some minimum requirements, like your guild has to be a certain size and a certain amount of participants, but ultimately guild leader will receive 10% of their guild's prize pool. The other 90% will be distributed amongst all guild members. So if you are an aspiring guild leader, you will get really nice rewards for that. And all your guild members will also receive nice rewards, especially if you guys win, you will get double the rewards as well. But keep in mind, you don't have to be a super competitive guild to participate in this. All guilds that enter will receive part of the reward pool as well for entering. Guild wars are like roughly 30 minutes. If you include like the waiting time before to prepare for the war, it's about an hour. This is the most efficient use of time you can have towards getting quest token. So definitely make sure that you are participating in that. It will be on the December 14th Guild War. So that will be the second Saturday of the early access. And so get your communities ready, build out a strong guild for phase 3 and go claim those rewards, guys. We're also working on some pretty cool stuff as well around that as well. We're thinking about doing kind of like a trophy system as well, where your guild, can get like a special kind of trophy thing that's shown in a Hall of Fame area for Guild Wars. We're doing some really cool stuff. So we're really wanting to build a lot around guilds, guys, and communities in general, because guild really is the in-game version of your community. Next, there's a new arrival in RavenQuest for phase 3, a very, very hungry monk. Our new Feed the Monk system makes earning additional Raven cards easier than ever. Each day, the monk will crave materials from a specific crafting profession. Note taker is going to get like 6 stutters of me there. And just shame me later. But by feeding him, you'll help grow him larger and larger. And the bigger he gets, the bigger rewards are for everyone. Work together adventures. A well-fed monk means greater rewards for the entire community. So essentially the way the monk system works, guys, is you will be able to give him crafting profession items. And based on that, you will get rewards based on the amount that you contribute to that pool. And with that, the larger the monk gets, the rewards proportionally get bigger. So let's say you contribute 10,000 experience and you would get, I don't know, let's say 100 Dawn Essence or whatever from it, right? Just using blanket numbers, guys. These aren't true numbers, but let's say you would get 100 Dawn Essence. If he hits another tier, even if you still only contributed 10,000, you would get like 120 Dawn Essence. Okay. So we wanted to make a system where you're not like feeling like you're fighting against other players to not want them to contribute so that you get more. And so essentially the more that the entire community contributes to this monk, the bigger the rewards get. One thing that's very important, guys, the values in phase 3 are very rough kind of test values. These are not final values. They will very much change for global release. Just so you guys know, don't think like, oh, this is too little, this is too much. That is what phase 3 is for getting those values really strong. We collect so much data on this, and we will go very hard on this. Monk system is bad and not necessary, I guess. Sorry, what are you referring to? Like what monk system? What about the ping on the Guild Wars instance? The Rift ping was 160 here. So yeah, right now, our Rifts and Guild Wars will be on the lowest ping global channel, like server. However, we are already working on building out Rifts and Guild Wars to look to somewhat match still evenly Rifts and Guild Wars based on preferred channel. So what that means is that guilds will generally be competing on the same channel, the same regional channel, same with Rifts. That is something that we won't have for phase 3, but something that we are building out. Thank you for answering my question. Of course. That's what this is for. Will stress test of mobile. When will the stress test of mobile be approximately? We don't have any ETA on that just yet. Once we do, I will share as always. Yeah, right now it is going through vigorous in-house testing. We have like the entire studio trying it out now to find different issues with different mobile devices. It's tough, right? With mobile, because you have to account for so many devices. There are so many different types of devices. They all have different little issues and problems and stuff. It is a lot of things to account for. And we want to make sure that the mobile client is not like only available on the latest Android or something like that. We want to make sure that people with an old phone, like we have some staff with really old phones, and trying to make sure that it works on those is really important for us. Please don't make mobile drag down global release. It will not. We've talked about that before. We very much plan to have mobile for global release. Well, before that, obviously for stress testing, but full mobile for release. But we've also said that we will never delay global release for mobile. If mobile comes a month after global release, then that's great too. It's a second kind of push, a new massive amount of players, but we really do want it for global release. That is our goal, and what we believe we'll be fine with. Will item rarity increase monk growth differently? I need to confirm on that. I believe so. But I think there was also an issue that came up with that we had to overcome, but I'll confirm with that. Don't rush global release too. Focus on refining the game, and I'll wait. Yeah, we've talked about this a lot. There's a really great quote: "A bad game that launches will be bad forever." A bad game that launches will never be remembered, and maybe one day be good. A good game that launches will forever be remembered, and one day could be great, or something like that. That is a quote that is more relevant in the game industry than ever, and the Web3 industry even more. There is nothing worse than releasing an unpolished product. You only full release once. That is just the reality of it. We've learned this the hard way. We've learned the issues with trying to rush something out a month sooner because the community really wants it, and what that can lead to, and how important it is to really be 100% confident in every single part of it. Obviously, there'll always be ongoing development. It's a live service game. It's an MMORPG. We will always have content updates, expansions, changes, balances. But in the end of the day, if there's like a certain area of the game where you're like, this just doesn't feel polished and it's so core to the game, it's important to get all those right. And we've always said this, that like, we will make sure we release a great game that is here for years to come. And everyone who's trusted in us, whether from a financial side or just this is a game that I want to play for years to come, that they're not let down by what we release. And so, you guys have seen the game. In the end of the day, improving certain systems to make them better is not a ton of work. And rebalancing things to make sure the balance is strong and all that kind of stuff. That's not a ton of work. But building out core content is a lot of work, right? And you guys have seen the game is massively content rich with a billion things to do. And the core, the part that takes 7 years to build is there. And so now we just want to make sure those things are all nicely fine-tuned and perfect for global release, because we want RavenQuest to be the biggest Web3 game in the world. And we strongly believe that it will be. But the only way I think we could drop that ball is by, cutting something a week early, because we're like, whatever, we'll fix it post-release or whatever. We're very fortunate to be a well-funded studio with lots of runway. And we're not going to rush something out. By the way, this is not to say I'm saying, oh, we're going to release middle of next year, or that's not it at all. But I just want to make sure you guys understand that, we don't get any of our team position. We don't get any of these things until we release anyways. In the end of the day, we have interest in releasing. There's a reason we're not like monetizing Patreon and all these kind of things now already. And we want to make sure that we have a clear goal as well. But we want to make sure we do it right. We want to make sure that we deliver nothing short of the best for everybody here. Do you intend to incorporate AI to the game? Yeah, actually something that I would love to leak to you guys. You guys, probably a lot of you guys have played Stardew Valley here, right? Who's played Stardew Valley here? You got some Stardew Valley heads here? Or, I have a problem. My partner loves Stardew Valley. Something I thought is really cool in Stardew Valley is how you like get like a partner in the game, and like build kind of like relationships in the game. And I think there's like a really cool way that you could incorporate like in-world AI, like the consistent learning of characters. I think it's used really is like a buzzword in a lot of games where it just doesn't play out well, where it's like NPCs and stuff. It just doesn't work the way that people hope it will. Not yet, at least. One day it will. But I think there's like really cool ways you could do that with like your workers, and maybe like having a family in the game that's like on your land and stuff, that you actually, that are in-world AI characters, so that you like, they are learning from you and building a rapport with you. Some players are gonna be like, I don't care about that. But I think a lot of people, when they play Stardew, like one of the number one things I always hear from Stardew is they like love like the relationship side of things that they build. And I think there's a really cool way that you could do that. Can we charge for services in the game, like quest services? Yeah, of course. Please add marriage in game. Yeah, I think there's like really cool things you can do with that. And we're very close in contact with in-world AI, and it's there now. Like the tech for that is there. And I think there's some really cool things we could do with that. So I love RavenQuest because it gives me WoW and Stardew Valley vibes. Oh, that's exactly what we're going for, man. Cozy game, but also something for those hardcore competitive players to sink their teeth into, you know? The next thing we've also talked about is the renown system, guys. The renown system is your pathway to earning quest tokens. This will be essentially the quest that will be done from the renown system is only on the testing side. It's on a test net for phase 3. Again, all these values, guys, please understand all the values are purely placeholder for phase 3. Okay, they're all placeholder, but we want to test the system, make sure it works well. But this is why we have an 11 million quest airdrop for phase 3, 1 million quest a day up for adventurers. Have you considered making the game progression slower? Yeah, we talked about that already. The game progression in phase 1 and phase 2 was just for testing purposes. It's about 2 to 3 times faster than it will be in phase 3 and global release. The other thing, the NFT testnet. At the end of phase 3, we will be launching our NFT testnet, giving everyone a chance to break the hell out of the system and earn additional rewards for finding critical bugs. Essentially, during phase 3, we won't have that withdrawing and depositing stuff of NFTs. We want to make sure that you guys just have a smooth experience with nothing that ruins kind of the integrity of the airdrop. But then at the end, you guys will have that opportunity to stress test the shit out of it, get additional rewards by essentially withdrawing, depositing our NFTs and stuff, which is how they would be minted as well. Additionally, phase 3 is going to have some insane Twitch drops. We are going to be running Twitch drops every 3 days during phase 3. So creators, you guys are going to have tons of Twitch drops to be giving away. Viewers of creators, your communities, you guys are going to get a ton of cool stuff. We'll be sharing these before phase 3 goes live. We'll be sharing with creators first, and then the viewer, and then the community. But creators, we're going to be juicing you guys up with some really cool stuff that players are very much going to want. It's also going to be part of the airdrop as well. So we're going to have some sick stuff for all of you creators here. And if you're an aspiring creator, please feel free to apply to our creator program. We had, what was it, 1,400? I'm forgetting the number here. 1,400 creators in phase 1 and 2. And yeah, over 1.2 million views. Yeah, we care a lot about creators, and we're working really hard to continue to make sure that they have really cool stuff on their side for sharing about the game and playing RavenQuest. And we're going to continue to soup you guys up. So are you guys going to remove the few catch-up mechanics that are active during 1 and 2? Yeah, so Rift EXP, Echo Bosses, that's all massively changed. We talked about that earlier. The North Star catch-up equipment that was essentially used for testing purposes, that is removed. So crafters, you guys are going to have even more value to you and what you guys bring to the game world. Yeah. The daily milk tea is not a catch-up mechanic. That is actually just like a booster for those that play a little bit less hours. So that will still be in, but you will see progression is much, much slower. Players and NPC, why not both for a marriage system? Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't see any reason why it can't be both. What are the requirements to be a creator for Twitch drops? Message Drewby. He can send you those. They're somewhere in our Discord, but I'm not positive where off my head. Another question regarding the NFTs within the game. Will these be dropped in real time via blockchain, or will they have to be claimed in the website in order to be? They will have to be claimed on the website. We are working on making this directly in game. However, we will have like some restrictions to avoid possible abuses. Like we will have the odd thing where it's like certain things just need to be verified first and stuff. In the end of the day, the security and integrity of the ecosystem is everything to us. And while we know people hate like slight delays when they want to withdraw something, depositing will likely be instant, and the withdrawing side will just have a security side to it. And I'm not saying KYC, by the way, sorry. I'm saying like a security side to authenticate that those assets are like real and correct and no issue there. And this will probably be longer on launch just to make sure that the ecosystem is has really high integrity and has no issues there, because we've seen this with many games where they have issues with that and it just kills the game. And then that will continue to reduce until the point that we're very comfortable with the system. Are you planning to enable a quest in collaboration with Discord on release? Can you share what you mean by that, Darky Leon? Oh, more stuff. Oh, Christmas event. We've talked about this. Christmas event will be live on December 5th, guys. We will have some fun things in Discord, as well as many in game. We will have exclusive Christmas NFT rewards, unique titles, many more things. This event is sure to fill your holidays with cheer. But we will also have a lot of stuff happening in the Discord too, guys. It'll be a ton of fun. We've packed so much into phase 3, guys. It has been an exhausting while here on our side, but we're so excited to get into your guys' hands. Yeah, you guys are going to absolutely love it. With that kind of closing on that side, phase 3 is just around the corner, starting on December 5th. Rally your friends, guildmates, and new adventurers to make this the biggest chapter in RavenQuest history. Together, let's grow the phase 3 airdrop into the largest ever and set the new standard for Web3 together. Ultimately, guys, phase 1 was a huge success. Phase 2 is even bigger. We have insane belief in what phase 3 will bring. On top of that, guys, we talked about before, we have some incredible, we'll talk a little bit on the marketing here as well. We have done a very organic approach up to now. The success that we've had, the amount of players we've had, without paying for people to do shill posts, without paying for these random big name creators who don't actually care about the game. We've been able to do something really incredible here with creators that are truly passionate about what we're building, believe in what we're building, and believe in us to bring value to them as well through the long term. And that's really been our approach. But that doesn't change the fact that we have a very massive marketing plan for release. With this, a big thing that we've been leaning into is building really strong partnerships with projects that really bring strong influence and also give a damn about the space. We have a pretty big partnership being announced in 2 days, actually. Some of you detectives would know. I was in his spaces a couple of weeks ago. He's a very, very big name in the space, and we will be lightly talking about that, but then there will be like a full announcement on that actually coming before release. But they are going to be lightly teasing about it. But we have a lot of things lined up for release. We kind of see it as our test phases are that they're test phases, right? In the end of the day, we know we'll sell out on the things that we are offering. We're not monetizing things in game. And so ultimately our goal is to make sure that our community stays strong, stays tight, and they benefit the most in the end of the day from these test phases. But that doesn't change the fact that for global release, we will be going crazy hard. We talked about it, phase 1 and phase 2. We spent under $1,000 in total marketing. And this was basically the Twitter budget that you get for free when you have a gold check mark. and we've shown what we've been able to do with that. But something a little more exciting that I will share here. I lightly leaked it in chat a while ago, but I will share it in here. Let me just grab a screenshot of it. Cause this is something that we're very excited about. I will share a screen here, guys, with you. Oh, that does mean that we will have to go into the Tavern. Okay. You guys are going to be talking in the Tavern now. Let's open that chat up here for you guys to send your messages in there. Give me one sec. Okay. It is open now. I'm going to share a screen. I'll let you guys all connect in here. Bob, I can talk about eligibility for the next land sale in a second here. Let me just make a couple notes here, guys. Let me just read this guy's message quick. Because it's a response to me from earlier. I've seen already different games that made some quests directly from Discord. Small banner over the account name on the bottom of the quest showing quest activation button once accepted. Yeah, Dark, can you DM me about that? Like send an example and maybe like the Discord that they're doing and what it kind of looks like. Cause that sounds sick. I would love to do something like, oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Like the new, so we are actually, for anyone who doesn't know, we are one of the first 50 partnered Discords. So we are like OGs with the Discord partner program. So we would have direct contact for that. And we did see something. I think they like teased it in the partner, like there's a Discord for partnered Discord owners. And I think I did see that recently, but I think it was just like a teaser of it. I would love to, if you could send me some more about that, that'd be awesome. And we will dig into it because that sounds great. All right, let's, so we are going to be talking about, this right here. Sorry, let me just get this right. Okay. I'm going to make it a little bigger for everybody. Nice and big. We are very excited to share that we have a $1 million plus global release marketing war chest. This is something exceptional for us because, you know, we are very diligent on how we do our marketing, extremely diligent. We see a lot of projects, you know, they do a party with top shelf liquor for 200 grand and they say that's their marketing, right? We are very strategic on how we do our marketing. We get reached out to every day by groups wanting to do blah, 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 this and this and this. And they're like, oh, we'll get this many impressions that you can flex on your numbers to people and stuff. We care about actual effective marketing, and we've found numbers that we've compared with other people in the industry that are literally 5 times stronger. But that doesn't change that we are building the best team around this. So we have $1 million marketing budget for our global release, which is very exciting because again, we've seen what we can do with $1,000 and the effect that we can have with that and what a good product brings. I've talked about it before, but with when it comes to marketing, the number that really matters is not the cost per install or, you know, the average return by user or anything like that. What really matters is how many people are they bringing in after that. So if you, let's say the cost per install is $10, right? So one user to actually get them to install the game and play the game, it works out to about $10 in ad spend, right? Which is pretty industry standard. Usually, actually that's like industry good. Right now, ad targeting is very rough. But if you bring that in and they play the game, it's just not a good game. Let's say it's just like a shitty gotcha game or something. The buck stops there. It's $10, one user, done, right? Now, if you bring in a user that he tells 5 friends to come play because he loves the game, right? Now you're paying really $2 per install. And that's the number that to us really matters. And we were very happy to see that our average referral from a install, like a cost per install or whatever, was 4.6. Oh, wait. Was it 4.7 or 4.6? Let me just quickly double check. 4.6. So that essentially means that one user that we acquire is bringing in 4.6 additional users, dropping their cost to below $2. This is very important for us on what we can do with that and what that can lead to. And keeping in mind that those users also probably refer other users. I think in the end of the day, a good game will organically be strong. Like we've seen with RavenQuest, it'll organically bring in a lot of players because they tell other people to come play and stuff like that. But then on the marketing side, a good game multiplies what your marketing can do. But on top of that, what's important to us is it's led by the best. Many of you guys know Blockchain Meta. We've known him for like 3 years now, and he has been that guy that just provides endless value to us, supporting us every step of the way, consulting us on so many things. He's a very busy person, but he has always, put time behind us completely for free just because he really believes in what we're building. I don't want to fluff him too much, but he's a very special person in our journey and has been a huge part of our success and guiding us in many ways. And then with that, we are very excited that we now are essentially have like an exclusive partnership with the growth part of Immutable, where they are all in on us. And really, we look to be the flagship title of Immutable, like Axie was for Ronin, and Off the Grid is now for Avalanche. That's really where we see us being in the Immutable ecosystem. And with that, we have consistent calls with the Immutable team, but these are not calls where it's like one guy there and he's like, hey, let's make this a big game. This is like, we just had a call with them. There's like 15 people from Immutable, top level staff. Like, we're here to build you guys into the next biggest Web3 game. I've talked about it before, guys. There's a reason we went with Immutable, and it's because we felt we would have a team that is all in on what we're doing here. And that's what mattered to us first and foremost. We very much believe that games build the chains, in the sense that we've seen chains that were pretty much gone and no one cared about. And one big game comes and now they are the hot chain for the next year. We will be that for Immutable, and we're very confident in what that means. But with that, Joe Harris, Chief Growth Officer at Immutable, and Tim Moore, Head of Growth and Rev Strategy. And then also we are very excited to say that we have Justin Hulag, former General Manager of Riot Games Southeast Asia. He is working with us on the marketing side, but also just really the game as a whole. He's been involved in so many titles, has so much experience. I had an hour call with him the other day. We have a call each week to kind of, he shares his insight and we pick each other's brains and stuff. And it was like one of those moments where I'm like, this is one of the coolest calls I've had. Just his wealth of knowledge, his wealth of understanding of the game industry, the Southeast Asia game industry, especially. We are just very excited about what we've built here and what that means. And we're also excited to share that if you guys want a shit ton of Immutable gems, RavenQuest will be the place to do it. We will be having the biggest gem quests that we've seen for RavenQuest release. We will also have some stuff for phase 3, but you guys are going to get a ton of gems. I can't leak what gems are for yet, but I can say that they're going to be sick, guys. Like, they haven't shared what gems will be for yet. And obviously I can't share the things that they're planning, but I can say that they're pretty sick. I thought it was going to be something so much more basic than it is. Gems are gonna be pretty sick. I'm very happy they're doing something really sick with it. And you will be able to get tons of Immutable gems just by playing RavenQuest as well. So you'll get all the other stuff with that. I'm still very unclear what Immutable gems actually do. Yeah, so they haven't been actually announced what they do yet. You can just gather them. And I think part of that has also been like their goal, right? They want to build that like mystery and hype around them, which people usually don't like, but they also do deep down like it creates some discussion. But I can tell you the stuff that they shared with us, they're going to be sick. Gems are definitely right away. I was like, oh shit, I need to start getting gems. Like, it right away switched to my brain. They're doing really cool stuff over there. And Grishy, I had so one of the cool parts is I've been able to chat with people involved in all these other projects, right? And I've been able to pick their brain on what went wrong and what went right. And Guild of Guardians is an example of a game where they did a lot of things really well, and they did a couple of things really, really poorly. And they're very open about that. Like, they're right away like, yeah, we did this bad. It was a nightmare. We completely dropped the ball on that. But they've learned so much from that. And through that process, they were one of like the very few, or one of the first kind of projects really trying to bridge that Web 2 monetization with Web3. And that's been so integral to us building out our model, right? To make sure that we build a big model and learn from their mistakes. And we absolutely, like, the wealth of knowledge that we got from that was very important. And that's a huge benefit there. But they're very like, many projects that fall flat in certain things, they will just like push the buck and blame to somebody else. And at times, yeah, maybe there's a fair reason to do that. Sometimes it isn't always in your hands, right? Like, we've had like servers crash and people are like, oh my God, server crash, whatever. And it's like, sorry guys, the OVH had an outage or something, right? Like on Ravenon's release, one of the data centers actually had like a fire, and we had like, there was a ton of news around it too. Like we were saying it to the community, and they're like, oh yeah, sure it did or whatever. And then we ended like an hour later, a news article came out and we're like, see, it actually happened. But sometimes it isn't always in your hands. But many times projects will also just push the blame when they shouldn't be. And it actually was like their problem, and they just kind of push it down the road. I will say, like, they are very quick to be like, hey, we did this wrong. We did this poorly. This is how you can learn from this. And this is how you can do it better. No project is perfect. They all have their problems. It's really about how close to perfect can you get, right? And that's why for us, it's so important to be having, like I've talked about before, my favorite YouTube series of all time that I still watch religiously anytime a new video comes out, and I've watched every single video over the years, is called Death of a Game series. It's called the Death of the Game series by, I'm blanking on his name right now. I've watched all the videos on it. And I've been asked, like, why do you like watching Death of a Game videos? And really, it's because every single video I watch on it, I make a million notes, and it's like, this is what this game did wrong. This is what this game did wrong. And sometimes maybe he's a little bit wrong on maybe what went wrong. Maybe it's like a little short side, but very good like research on it. And it's always been my favorite series because I are just consistently making notes on things to learn from that other games failed on, and things to improve. And that's so important. Please talk about YGG's 1 million ecosystem or $1 million rewards for the IMX ecosystem. What's share of RavenQuest? How to distribute it? Is that clear or not yet? So we don't have full details on it yet. I believe those are getting posted soon. We will definitely share with the community all the details about that. But yes, YGG is providing a $1 million reward pool for the IMX ecosystem. We are working with YGG on some very exciting stuff, guys. And we will be a part of that reward pool as well. So that means, like, on top of all the airdrop rewards and all the things we're doing, you'll also be a part of a $1 million reward pool as well for playing RavenQuest. We are working on a ton of stuff there as well. 2 hour mark coming up. Oh my God, it is. I think it lasts for 3 hours in Note Taker, but Drew is on top of that. He will reboot it and stuff. Sorry, let me just check a few CM DMs to see if I missed something. Thank you, Will Zara, for sending me that. I will take a better look soon. All right, let's go into the next part. By the way, the reason why we talked about this is ultimately a lot of people were like, oh, you guys have done like an organic approach. Are you like not going to do a marketing push? I want to make clear, we've done an organic approach because we want the true community members, the true players, them to get involved first and make sure that they benefit the most. And ultimately, we don't see it, to us, it doesn't make sense to be like marketing the hell of an early access when it's for testing, it's for making the game strong, for the global release. This is when this will come into play. Yeah. The next thing, this is something that we shared in Excali Draw, like a very ugly version of it. We now have a much nicer graphic version of it. We're going to be doing this for a bunch of things from the ecosystem, but I wanted to show you guys a much cleaned up model of this. By the way, this is not including the renown system, and a little bit, but ultimately, and this doesn't show, this is the Quest ecosystem from a non-landowner point of view. So we will have a landowner one as well that shows the landowner side. This is from a non-landowner, landowners also still participate in this, but these are not the landowner rewards, just so you guys are clear on that. But essentially just showing how leaderboard rewards or leaderboard tournaments, renown, seasonal events, Guild Fame, Guild Wars, all produce Quest, and then showing syncs of Quest, as you guys can see. Just wanted to show a nicer graphic of this, because previously I was just showing like Excali Draw, tokenomics, model and stuff. So want to show a much cleaner graphic. We will be getting graphics made for all of the parts of the ecosystem, and then those will all be up on our white paper as well. Oh my God, look at that Moa skin. Yeah. That was our Carnival Moa skin. Yeah, what is the difference between marketplace fee and auction house tax? So we realized that when like the in-game marketplace is I think we already renamed it or we're working on renaming it, but there was some confusion because marketplace is like a Web3 term, and they were like, you're talking about marketplace, are you talking about like Web3 marketplace or in-game marketplace? And they're obviously different, right? The Web3 marketplace allows the usage of Quest and selling and buying NFTs, where the in-game one is like in-game materials, stuff like that. Auction house tax is essentially like our in-game marketplace. There is a silver tax, and we'll kind of share more about what that actually means. It's not saying that you need Quest to use the auction house. Essentially, the silver amount will be used to buy up Quest directly and burn it. So it means that the consistent use of the auction house will contribute to burning up of the Quest token. So this isn't required by players. It'll be done on the back end, as that silver will be used to burn up Quest. And then this is actual marketplace fee. So this is assuming we have, we want to do a very small fee, something just to avoid some, common volume crap being done. And then our true sinks in the game. Since there will be a wipe before phase 3, does that mean the land will be claimed again? Yes, we will have a land claim for phase 3, and then we will have a gated one for launch. So you will claim your land based on the order of people that got land. But for phase 3, it'll just be a free for all again. But we will make sure to announce this in advance so you guys can be there at the time. IMX NFT marketplace is so bad. I hope you make your own marketplace. It can be much better. Yeah, no, we're not using their marketplace. They've even, they've discontinued it, and they said like, we want to be much more streamlined to things that matter. And it made no sense for us to build it. That's why you guys might've saw, but, sorry, so many names day in and day out. But they just partnered with Altura, that are providing 5 million in question rewards as well. They are essentially a white label NFT marketplace solution. And so whether we build it out ourselves or we use a white label, we agree. And IMX team would agree too. They wouldn't feel slighted if I said this, because they've self-admitted their marketplace was just not it. They were spread too thin with it. And it's better to focus on what they need to focus on. And that's why you've seen some very exciting improvements with like getting funds on IMX being so much simpler than it was in our last land sale. We'll have a tutorial on the new method that they have offered, but it is like miles easier moving from any chain, any wallet into IMX than it was before. For our land sale, that was a huge thing for a lot of adventurers, was just figuring that out was so troublesome. Now it's such a smooth process. That's what they've been focusing more on, what really matters there. 5 to 10% royalty and fees was price gouging. So that was set by the project, to be clear. That was set by the project. Projects can set whatever royalty they want. Again, we don't agree with like people setting like a 10% royalty. We think that's rough. I think some amount is important for stopping certain stuff that can happen, right? Like some level of tax. It's the same with like an auction house in a game. You have to have some form of tax to avoid some of the crap that can happen. But in the end of the day, when you see like 10%, you're like, what is going on here? Yeah, not good. No, they will not be Bobby Drake. We talked about that earlier in the game. The equipment chests, like the equipment chests you get from the North Star quest, that was for testing only. They will not be in phase 3. Crafters rejoice. Token Trove is decent. We're very close to Token Trove. But I do like us doing our own thing, whether it's us building it ourselves or using a white label, because it means we have a lot more control over how we do it. It also means that there's like cool things we can do where Web 2 users could participate in it without having to actually have a Web 3 wallet. So that means that you could acquire quests still from those users without actually them having to have a wallet, which just is, I think, an incredible model to do, which is something we're exploring. We need to make sure legal side, it's all good on that. But yeah. Oh, I got so much more. God, AMAs always end up so long because I have so much I want to share and talk about with you guys. Stop streaming though. There's nothing else I need to stream. Okay. Okay. Some questions on land sale. Let me go bathroom quick. Okay. I'm going to go bathroom quick, grab some water, and then we're going to talk about land sale and some other stuff around that I know you guys are very much wanting to hear on. So give me 1 sec. Okay. This music is really annoying. Is there background music from the channel? I don't hear any music. Okay. He's crazy. He's out of his mind. You were talking about UX improvements with IMX. Can you talk about why IMX was chosen? Alternative change being suggested is common. Yeah. I've talked about this almost every AMA, but I'm happy to always share. So first, just to be transparent, while we are partnered with Immutable, we have nothing in our contract that requires us to speak positively about them. We can speak completely freely about them. And I have always been a person, as you guys have seen, that will call out crap that I don't like and that I don't think is good. if this ever changes, I will always be vocal and honest and open with you guys about our experience with Immutable. If we feel like things are going the wrong way, or we're not happy with the way things are going, or we have issues that that we've seen, we will always be open about that. I can say, it has been nothing but amazing with them. Their dedication to us has been incredible. I can't speak on every game, to be clear. I've heard some games, they maybe feel they don't get as much support and stuff, but that will happen on any chain, right? If you're not like a super high quality product, they'll probably pay a little bit less attention to you. That's just the reality of the world, right? If you're a musician and you have an agent who has 10 clients and you are selling 6 tickets to your shows, you will probably get less attention than if they have a client that is selling 100,000 tickets to their shows. That's just the reality of the world, right? So I can't speak for every product or project. I can say that our support from them has been incredible and outstanding. They've been with us every step of the way and very prompt. Someone the other day was saying, like, just don't message them on the weekend because they won't respond. I don't want to dox that he had this, but I can say someone high up in Immutable had surgery the other week. He literally messaged us responses to stuff like an hour after waking up from being put under. They are around the clock, always beside us. They've been incredible. And again, I will always be open if they change. For us, our decision was, we obviously spoke with all of the major chains. We saw pros and cons in all of them. In the end of the day, the tech is what you use it for and how you need it. This is really important. I will say this 100 times. Just because someone has blockchain issues on a certain chain does not mean it is the chain's tech itself that is the problem. It very well could be that they implemented it poorly, and whatever chain they were going to be on, it was going to be a nightmare. It can very much mean they're just pushing the buck down the road because they don't want to take any blame. We've seen many projects on many chains that have done really poor blockchain implementation, and it has caused lots of issues. In the end of the day, the tech out there for most of the major chains are all very comparable. And as long as you utilize it the right way and implement it the right way, they will all be more than fine. That is just the reality of it. Now, why did we choose Immutable? Again, we met with all the big chains and many chains. In the end of the day, we had much bigger offers than what Immutable offered us. We went with Immutable because we truly felt that not only in the long term of what they were building, that we were very confident in, because in the end of the day, sorry, I've said that like 3 times. I'm sorry. I say it too much. I know. But ultimately, there we go. I'm gonna use a different word. Every year there's a new hot chain. One year, with Axie, it was Ronin. Then suddenly Ronin was cursed and everyone hated it. Then suddenly it's popular again. Then it's off the grid with Avalanche. Like it consistently changes based on the games. And we don't want to make our decision based on what was hot at the time or what we think will be hot in 2 months. We care about what is going to be, where do we think the most stable long-term is going to be? And we not only felt that was Immutable, don't get me wrong, there's other chains that we also think are going to have a long, healthy life cycle. It's not that at all. But not only was that a big part of it, but also we knew what we bring to the table. We bring a very experienced game development studio, which we think Web3 was lacking. And they bring a lot of Web3 experience, and so do most chains. But we were very confident, and we've seen it, that Immutable would be the most in our most behind us. They would be there for every question along the way. They would have all the top people answering every question along the way. And that to us was incredibly important. That's what we needed. And that's what we felt would attribute to our enormous success. And you guys were a part of, you guys all saw the land sale. It went absolutely flawlessly. And on the blockchain side, no issues. So, some people say like, oh, like this project had this issue. We've already shown that it in many ways is just the implementation of how things are used, right? And that's very important. Also, some projects are on Immutable versus Immutable ZKM. We are on Immutable ZKVM. But yeah, in the end of the day, we will still have another day ahead. In the end of the day, we will still have another end of the day ahead. What are your thoughts on Ronin in specific? There are a lot of players on that chain. Yeah. We obviously love Ronin. I will say I love like their branding and their style and all that. I think it's really well done. Axie was huge for Ronin, then Pixels was huge for Ronin. We have to remember to look at the chicken before the egg situation as well, a little bit. But in the end of the day, you can say there's a ton of players on Ronin. Is there a ton of players that contribute positively to an ecosystem or not? Right? That's the important question. So if you looked at a chain and you saw, and I'm not saying Ronin has this, but let's say you look at a chain, you're like, oh, 90% of people on that chain that are playing those games are heavy extractors. They only extract from ecosystems. They only make the token price go down. They only do that. Is that appealing, or is that maybe a negative, right? And if your goal is to raise VC money and to drive FOMO, then yeah, maybe that's a good route, because you're just getting insane player numbers, even though those players are actually hurting everybody in the end of the day. And I'm not saying, by the way, that that is how Ronin is set up, but I would say most agree that Ronin probably has more extractors proportionally than many chains. But there's also no doubt that it has the most players right now. But again, I look at it very much as a chicken before the egg situation. I think Ronin definitely brings players, but in the end of the day, games have consistently shown they bring the chains, right? A huge game launch on any chain, people will be on that chain suddenly. That chain will blow up suddenly. Yeah. You're showing the G3 NFT. Yeah, we will have another quest on Games 3 GG with that available as well. Gib Solana. Ronin is full of extractors, lots of extractors. ZKM in general have lots of potential. We totally agree. There's a reason we're on ZK EVM, right? There's a reason for that. You're right in the end of the day. Arcanist, do you mind sharing why you think ZK EVM is so bad? I'd be very curious. Because a lot of people have been like, oh, like it, this is bad and this project had this issue. And it's like, well, you guys were in our land sale. Did you guys have any issues? And it's like, no, other than bridging. Bridging was tough. And that's why they worked so hard to make a much better improvement to it. And they consistently are working towards it. We're very close with them. I've shared that. There's been many requests we've had, and they've been like, we're basically building this out because of your guys' request. And so, while they're very far behind us, like keep in mind that you guys sharing things that you guys are like, hey, this could be improved, this could be better. They care about that. We bring it to them and they respond like right away. And they're like, we're on it. Like, let's make this the best possible. So sharing that stuff is very important to us. This is not a situation where it's like, oh, they don't have this, that sucks. Boo on them. It's like, oh, they don't have this. You share it with us. We bring it to them. And they're like, okay, we're going to get that done. Right. That's what they've been doing. Like we shared with them how rough the bridging stuff was and moving funds on Immutable. Well, lo and behold, a month later, we get to share that they have just a much better process now, much more simpler process. Say the Law Nighter. Melon, absolutely. I'm not, but you're saying that is what happened with Web3 games, though. They gain a lot of popularity and the token is profitable. You will get extractors as well. So obviously you can build a very strong model to make extracting harder if you don't care about just like vanity numbers for VCs, right? Which we don't care about. We've always been very clear about that we just don't care about that. That's not our route that we want to take. We don't see our revenue as bringing in VC money. We see our revenue as the product that we're delivering. But your point is exactly correct. But I think that actually argues to my point, which is if it's big enough, extractors will come. And I think that's absolutely the point, is when you talk about those Ronin people, if the game is big enough, they will come over, right? That is just reality. We've already seen a lot of people from Pixels be playing RavenQuest and loving RavenQuest and just in our little early access. And that is, yeah, exactly it. Thank you for taking the time to go over IMX decision yet again. I would like to reiterate, as this comes up multiple times, updating the white paper so the community can link to the official response. Yeah, I totally agree. Matt was actually just bringing this up the other day. Make a page about why Immutable, because like this is something that, guys, we spent like 6 months in negotiations and decisions, and this is not something we took lightly. It's not like we got sent over an offer and we're like, hell yeah, let's ride. Like, that's not what this was like. This was a very long process for us, and we took this decision it was very important for us, right? And so with that, like, that's why we love, like, I don't mind sharing about it, because I think it is important for you guys to understand what all went into this decision. It's not like we were like, oh, we have to go with Immutable because of X, Y, and Z. We chose them, right? And the decision has not been anything but confidence for us since then. We had one little hiccup with them, And it was just a misunderstanding. Like literally the next day they were like we had a hiccup. I messaged our partner manager and he like took it to the co-founder. And within a day it was like completely cleared up. They're like, oh, this is not what we meant. This is not like, you know, and that was the only thing we've ever had. And I shared that also in an AMA. It was an AMA on the day that happened. And I shared openly with everybody. I'm like, yeah, something kind of happened today. We didn't really like it. But I might be a misunderstanding or whatever. And I share that openly as well. I'll always openly share the good and the bad. I love ZK EVM $2,000 airdrops. Help me love them. Will we have more exclusively limited early access NFTs until global release? I mean, we'll have access to an event, but besides that, Bill, we're just getting started, buddy. Again, we really want to reward the people that are here early. We might have something coming for monk owners and landowners, something bonus. Again, we like to do our land sales in the sense of we deliver product that you guys can play and see why it's special and see how hard we're working. Then we look to do land sale and then we over deliver after that, instead of the other way around. So we want people to get land and then find out about the extra stuff they're going to get, not the other way around. So yeah, we will consistently continue to do that. Pixels Gang, what up, Lou? How's it going, man? But IMX needs to put their ZKM token on instead of their Ethereum token. That's the biggest problem I see. You can buy Ronin easy, not so much with IMX on ZKVM. Yeah. One thing I should share, guys. We are not, our partnership with IMX is on our NFT side. It is not on our token side. Take with that what you will. But we like in the end of the day, we are very flexible on there. And is this an opportunity for us to bring over a lot of people from another ecosystem? Possibly, right? Very soon, Macchiato. Jameson, that's because we haven't officially announced that yet. Honestly, RavenQuest is a very stable game at the moment. Has a large player base from Web 2 to Web 3, bans bots and everything. What the games need is good chain network to support and promote. I hope we'll have more upgrades with deeper economy quest, consume, burn, use more. Oh, Slime Gaming. I just shared all of that. All the consume, burn, use more. And this is only a fraction of it. We talked about veiled cards last week and people went pretty crazy thinking about the sync and utility portion of that. We'll be sharing a dev blog on that once that's finished. Okay. We completely went on to a million questions. I was going to talk about land sale stuff. All right, guys. So GPT, don't respond. Dude, Slime Gaming is that fucking OG here, man. It was one person that responded that, so whatever. I saw it, but looking forward to seeing it and how it works in game. Hell yeah, man. You're going to love it. We're working on a really cool design for it. Dude, there's so much stuff we're working on. It's like, it makes me go crazy. Like I start working on game design stuff and I'm like, oh, I want to work on this. I want to work on that. Like, that's the beautiful part about an MMO is we can build new things for so many years. And like, it's weird. We've been working on Raven Dawn and thus RavenQuest for like almost 8 years now. Pretty close to 8 years now. And like every day I get more and more passionate about the game, which I think is very rare. I think a lot of developers after that many years, they lose that interest, right? Especially on the game design side. But I feel like every day I'm like more excited about the new things that we're bringing in. So land sale stuff. So we already chatted a little bit about it, about maybe a little bit of a leaked date that some people figured out. And then there was a lot of people that were saying like, oh, please like do it earlier so that we can, have it for phase 3. Right. And so I will talk to the team about that. Again, our full focus is making phase 3 as amazing as possible. So trying to figure out, land sale throughout that is tricky. However, on the land sale itself, some people have asked like, who can buy in the next land sale, stuff like that. We've done, 2 polls now on what do people prefer? Do they prefer, let's do one more. Let's do a third one. Let's see if the results are any different. Okay. Before I share more on that. One sec. I'm trying to think how to word this best. Okay. So we're going to have 2 options here. I've done this vote a couple times before, but I'm curious because it's always kind of a little bit of a different amount of people here in the AMA or a different audience. I'm very curious. Sorry, I messed something up. So which format do you guys prefer? Before I share about like the past results and kind of what we're planning, what we're thinking, there's two formats, kind of how we did our last land sale. We did the first come, first serve, where it's just like a rush, go try and grab one, pray to God. I've also shared like the pros and cons to each, just kind of to recap them. Between that or like an application form, the kind of pros and cons, land sale, first come, first serve, rush kind of format, I think has like the pro of like it's adrenaline, it's high, those kind of things. And I see pros in that for sure. It's also a lot easier for us to do. I've mentioned that before. The other side, which is like an application for getting land. The pros, I think you get much higher quality landowners because there's less chance that it's just like flippers that are wanting to grab it. I think it's better for everyone with land. Whether you plan to flip it or plan to hold it, it's better for you if it's like the best people selected. And so I see a big benefit of that because you're getting the land into people that really care about the game and care about being a landowner, care about being a part of it and that long-term value and being a part of things. And then the con is really that it's a shit ton of work, right? If we get, 7,000 good applications, it's 7,000 applications to read through and select the best applicants. But it does lead to, I think, overall better people becoming landowners, which I think is good for everybody. But, I see both sides. Both sides are great. I see both sides. I will do a straw poll here, guys. You guys can go vote. What we did in the last land sale, guys, is we did a first come, first serve format. And then we did do applications as well. And, but without influencing the vote, I will say a lot of people said, oh, do both again. Cause it was great because then you get some really high quality ones where you guys still have like the fun of the first come, first serve. And I will say it was a ton of fun. Like to see us like the whitelist open or not even like the guaranteed whitelist open and like all the land or larges sell out within seconds. And then we did the whitelist open and like everything else sold out pretty much immediately. I think there was one medium that was available for when it went to the public round. And this was with a limit of one land per person too. That was absolutely insane, but, and that is fun. But at the same time, is there probably some people that are buying the land there that are maybe not going to be the best landowners? And when I say that, guys, in the end of the day, everyone's in Web3 for different reasons, right? Some people are like, I care about this project, I want to support them. Some are like, I like the long-term value of this land, whatever. And some are like, you know what, I'm just a flipper, man. That's what I do. And to be clear, we appreciate your support either way. But I think most landowners will also agree that they would love to have as many people as possible that really, they care about the game first and foremost. They're getting it because they want to support us and be a part of it. And they're not looking to just flip it. And so in the end of the day, everybody is part of this ecosystem and is important to us. But I do think there is a value to having landowners that you're like, these are guys that are passionate about the game, passionate about what we're building and believe in the long term of it. Write a very robust prompt for AI like ChatGPT to sift through applications. Dude, that is such a good idea, actually. That is such a good idea. Because my God, was it a lot of work last time. You guys remember, I think I went like 24 hours straight. I was like in the chat, like I'm still reading through them. Well, Silks. So we did that with whitelisting. We did that in many different ways. But we're talking about like if we were to do like an application process purely. Guys, we are not done yet. Nighter, can you please confirm monk owners, for instance, keep their whitelist priority? We haven't announced how the whitelisting and stuff will be for the next land sale yet. We already have a pretty good idea internally on what we're going to be doing, or we already have a plan internally. But we need to I still need to chat it over with a few people just to make sure we're 100% happy with it. And then we will announce it publicly. I would say you can err on the side of yeah. But I don't want to officially announce things just yet. Okay. I hope you understand. Yeah. The last one we did guaranteed whitelists and first come, first serve whitelists and then public. Yeah, that's what we did in the last one. Okay, let's see. So I will now share, and it is quite similar. So the last two straw polls were essentially pretty close, but definitely heavier weighted towards the application side. And it is still quite, it's like about the same, but also still heavy weighted application side. What a lot of people recommended in the last AMA, or a couple of AMAs ago was do both. I do think there's like, they're both like, one's really fun to do, especially for us, right? We do like a live stream, we do a big event around it. But it's fun to do as well. But I do think the application process, like I will say, like the only 200 that we did through applications, it was like very few last time. We were just like very excited about the landowners selected. And I will say, like, seeing those landowners, like they're some of the most active people in our community, and we just feel that they were the right people to get it. Yeah, with Saki, like you could do like a guaranteed for higher levels, stuff like that. Grishy, it all depends on phase 3, brother. All depends on phase 3. It's one of those things that I really just can't answer without phase 3. That's just the reality of it. It's above a 1. I think there's a lot of like external factors too that matter. In the end of the day, they always say like there is no worse time to release a. So for example, I'll give Raven on as an example. We've been open about this. We talked for like an hour in the last AMA about things that we learned from Raven Dawn's release. And the biggest thing we learned was we should have spent another couple months baking a few more things. We knew that. We really did just cave under pressure, and it was not a good decision. There were certain things that need to be built out for that scope of game and that amount of players. Some of those things we couldn't really uncover until we had that really battle tested period. I talked about this for an hour in the last AMA. If you're curious on that, guys, I talked for an hour about all the things that we felt went wrong. It was, a lot of it was just a product of success. It was way bigger than we ever expected. We did not have the team to support it. We did not have the systems in game to support that. And how much we learned from that process. But one of the most important parts with Raven Dawn, we were basically consulted by everybody on do not launch during Christmas, right? And the reason free to play game during Christmas. And the reason why is everyone is buying box price titles. There are no time where more box price titles launch, and free to play games are usually looking to play once they've played through those box price titles, right? So everyone gets gifts, Christmas gifts, and then they play through those titles. We released Raven Dawn on January 16th, and it was one of the strongest, smartest things we ever did. And a big part of that was we basically had endless free press coverage. That is a big part of, I think, why it exploded so big with us spending basically nothing on marketing for it, is because every like MMORPG site, every game site, they were all talking about it's complete for free, because there are almost no games that release in January, except for sometimes free to play games, because at the end of the day, most are trying to capitalize on the sales that they can get for Christmas gifts, right? With a free to play game, you obviously don't really care about that. And so in the end of the day, in January, you get so much free press coverage because of that. And also a lot of people have like played through those box price games. They don't want to buy new ones because they just bought a bunch of games, and now they just want something they can just hop into. So there's a lot of stuff that I can talk about on that. These are things that we talk about consistently. But yeah, 3-hour AMA check, 4 hours charging. Yeah. Smart. Yeah. These are things that we put a lot of weight on. These are things that we talk about a lot. We meet with a lot on. Yeah. Keep in mind, like, we're in contact with a lot of game journalists and very good contact with them. And this is a big part of it too. Like, for them, they have to be like, okay, we want to do all this coverage on you, but are we going to do that over like the new flagship PS5 game dropping for Christmas, right? Like, can we do like, and it's like, hey, if you release this is a constant back and forth discussion, because they know as well. They're like, hey, during this week, if you release during this week, we and everybody around us will be talking about you. We'll blow you guys up. But if you're releasing during this week, we already know we're going to be talking about this because this is already announced, right? I've been pretty open about this, that we have not shared a release date yet for a reason. We will give, obviously, lots of run up time for you guys to know. Like, we won't be announcing it a week before, something like that. But something that I've said many times, the reason why we haven't set a release date and we always just given, okay, this is what our goal is and stuff like that, is because once we announce that date, that is the goddamn date. It is not, we're not delaying things 2 weeks. We're not doing a POE 2 where they say, oh, it's going to be another 2 weeks. We announce dates when we have a date. This is like, and that's the date. That is just the reality of it. We like to give random time estimates on what we're looking to do, because we think that's fine to do, but those are always time estimates. We will always release when things are 100% ready. But when I say like, okay, if it's not before end of 2024 because maybe, you know, phase 3 has some more things that we want to figure out, which again, the stress test went incredibly smooth. So we're very optimistic on that. But the bigger thing is like, if there's reasons that we're like, hey, this is going to be 3 times bigger if we release during this week of this, whatever. But when I say that, I'm not saying like March, you know, 2025. That's not what I'm saying. We have a very big and very polished product already. And the things that we are working on, the things that we have lined up are not for a date like that. They are for a date much before that. Still dead inside about PoE 2 delay. Trust me, our lead engineer is a PoE fanatic. And I've said this before, he's basically never requested vacation days ever. This was the one time he requested vacation days, was for PoE 2 release. I'm going to tell you guys something. That is why we're releasing on the Thursday. Because our lead engineer will probably quit if he doesn't get the 6 off to play PoE 2. And don't get me wrong, he's that guy that he's like, if anything goes wrong, he's there at a moment's notice. Whether it's middle of the night, whenever. He is so like dedicated to what we're building. But he was very much hoping that we could release one day sooner, so any big problems come up, he can handle those before PoE 2 early access. And he deserves it. Someone said that, and it is very true. No one, or not no one, but few deserve it more than him. We were like, you know, we are going to make sure that happens. And I know that's weird. Like, we're dropping a day earlier. I get probably no one here is upset that we're dropping a day earlier. But we were actually going to do the 6th originally. And we were like, no, we want to make sure that he gets that day, because I really mean this, like, he's like never asked for vacation days ever. This was his one time. And I was like, you know what? We're going to make sure it happens. And hey, in the end of the day, that's what you want, right? You want game developers who are working in the studio, who they live, sleep, breathe video games, right? You want the guy that they're taking their vacation day to play a video game. You know, that's what you want. And yeah, no, I'm not saying I'm going to do it one day earlier. I'm saying that it's on December 5th, and that's one day earlier than what we originally were actually thinking about. No. He's taking the 6 off. He's not taking 6 weeks off. What is the feasibility of giving preference in purchasing lands and other items based on Discord level? Yeah, I think that's interesting. I made a note of it already. Wow, the vote is definitely very heavy this time towards application, heavier than the last 2. And I will be transparent, right? Because like, I do think it is a better model, right? And so that, of course, is probably impacting some to vote that model, because they're like, oh, if he thinks it's better, whatever. But I also do love the just land rush, first come, first serve. It's fun, right? So at the same time, I think we can do a cool hybrid approach to make both sides happy. But maybe this time we do it heavier towards the application. It's just, you know, we want our landowners to be people that we want to hop into chats with. We want to discuss ideas with, brainstorm ideas with. Many of you guys don't know, if you're not a landowner, we have a landowner chat in the Discord, and it is the most active channel in the Discord. It's definitely where the longest discussions happen, and the most in-depth discussions happen. And sometimes I'm kind of like, oh, it's kind of a bummer, because I wish they were like in the tavern as well, because it was just, you know, the chat would be so much busier. But at the same time, it is a really special thing, because it is a place that we can have those longer discussions. I share a lot of alpha stuff in there as well. We have a landowner announcement channel. And for all of you upcoming landowners, you guys will get access to that. And it is a very cool channel, and I want to keep it a very cool channel, right? And having people in there that really care about the game and stuff and want the best for the game, instead of just like give bigger rewards, whatever, right? That's really important to us. So that's why I do like that model more. But I also think there's the rush, the adrenaline that we all need. If I want to buy land when the global release is done, am I not able to do it? LO get asked. Yeah, so our land sales will be done before global release, so you will not be able to. You will be able to buy it on a secondary market, though, from a landowner, if they're willing to partake with it. It's kind of funny. We had one landowner, a small landowner, like a week ago, and he was like upset about something, and like 5 other landowners were like, yo, if you're upset, I'll buy your land right now. And I even said, I'm like, I'll grab your land too from you. And then he's like, he wanted like 10x the price or whatever. And they're like, well, okay. Like dog, you're saying you're upset about this, but you want 10 times the price on something you just got? You're crazy. And don't get me wrong, like, let's go 10x price on launch. And as we continue to like build out the ecosystem further, let's see even bigger than that. But in the end of the day, that was pretty funny, because like, wait, if you're upset, why would you not just sell it for even like double? Like I told him straight up, I said, I'll pay 3x right now. You DM me, I'll pay 3x. But yeah, actually, I think he was even higher than 10x. I was like 10x on a couple of weeks, man. That's not too bad. That's not too shabby. 100x or bust. Yeah, so a ton of people have been asking, could we exchange our small land for a medium? This has been requested a ton, guys. I get like DM'd every day on like, can I like upgrade my land and stuff? We've always said that we would allow upgrading of turning in like 5 of a smaller one to get the size above. We've said this for 2 years that we would eventually allow this. We did do a poll to see if people wanted us to add the ability to like upgrade land, and it was it was actually heavily no. It was like a 60-40 no. People mentioned like some reasons they don't think that's the best model to do, which we did end up agreeing with. We just didn't really. It was just a quick poll. We were just curious, and that's something that unless it was overwhelmingly yes, we wouldn't do it. The difference between swapping is like the idea that you would have 5 small, you have to get 5 smalls and you could upgrade to a medium. And so that is something that we've always said we would do and we are looking to do. However, that is different from being able to just like upgrade it. But yeah. Oh yeah. See, it was the 3x is what we actually offered and he still said no. But that's a good sign when people aren't willing to partake with it or part with it for less than 10x. That's a good fucking sign. Returning lands that already rolled rarity perks would be weird though. Totally agree. Yeah. I should be clear by the way. We've always said we're considering allowing like the swapping of 5 for 1 or whatever. Yeah. We haven't actually officially announced it. But it is something that we ended up talking it was like a 4-hour discussion on Landowners channel because people were just kind of confused and over text it can be tricky. And in the end, like pretty much everyone agreed, okay, that model makes sense. Don't do the upgrading though. I won't get into all the reasons that were kind of not great with the upgrading idea. But yeah. Can landowners buy more land? So yeah, we haven't announced how the next land sale will work. This is a really tough spot for us, right? Because, a lot of projects, it's kind of both ways, right? We have so many people that want land and it really sucks when you're like, oh, landowners got another piece of land and I have none. Right. But then there's also the side, of course, that's important to us. And like, we want to make sure that landowners, get rewarded for being early landowners too. Right. So we're exploring how we want to best do this. In the end of the day, oh my God, I did it again. Ultimately, we want to make sure that both sides are happy. It's almost impossible to always make both sides happy, but there are situations, those golden, beautiful scenarios where you can make both sides happy. And that's what we're working on right now to make sure both sides are happy. Because we want to make sure that our landowners feel like, hey, I have that opportunity. I believe in this project. They've delivered. The landowner rewards from phase 1 and 2 were sick and it's just the beginning. And I want to get more involved in that. But we also want to make sure that as many people as possible are able to get land too. Early landowners are the future of RavenQuest. See, I totally agree, right? That's a big part of it too. But you also got to understand the flip argument of that is new landowners build up that future of RavenQuest even further, right? It means more people are the future of RavenQuest too, right? So there's both sides. So probably what it looks like is we probably do something split where there is allocation available for landowners as well, but not like where they can just literally buy all of it and not allow new people to get in. And we kind of look at a split there, right? I think many times that's what comes down to being the best is having a split. How many people play the stress test? What was the peak? I actually never even checked. Yeah, we just, in the end of the day, it was just a quick 24-hour stress test. We definitely know it's not as many as will be on phase 3. So we definitely know there will be some probably further problems that kind of come up because of that, like additional stress, but it was a really great, it was a really important 24 hours to find some early issues with it. We didn't give very much notice for that. And I do apologize for that, guys, with the stress test, like giving such short notice and then it being on like a Monday and stuff, but we just wanted to get it in as soon as possible. We knew that we didn't need like 50,000 people on at once to like really test the things that we needed to test for it. So that's why we didn't like give a ton of notice and stuff, but thank you so much for everyone who did participate in it and help us find some stuff. I think we had like a couple thousand bugs get reported, which is incredible. Again, a lot of them are duplicates, a couple thousand users reporting bugs in general. Best AMA so far. Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Dude, I love doing these. Like, the night before I'm always so excited for AMAs. I wake up, I'm like, yeah, it's AMA. Like I love doing them. I love hanging out with you guys. It's so much fun. And I'm sorry that I do it too long, for some, but yeah, again, we are doing now like the summaries. I know a lot of you guys love that. I know a lot of people are like, okay, I'm going to hop in for a minute and I'm just going to read the summary. But the guys, like, there's so many people here who are like, hear all the AMA, every AMA. And it's like, oh my God, it's like the most flattering thing in the world. And this time was probably the least amount of like random personal or outside of game tangents that I've gone on, because it was like 15 minutes at the beginning there, but many times there's like an hour of it. Today's been just a lot of like digging in deep. Put next land sale with 3x the price. No, we wouldn't do that. It will be a lower discount though. We said that every round we'll have a lower discount. Are we going to earn a title for participating in the stress test? We didn't have a title set for it, unfortunately. But that's why we did all other juicy rewards. Have you thought about launching a mini game in the game, or even similar mechanics to a MOBA, or even an event using character, obviously, or maybe even the monks? Oh, of course. I guess you could argue in many ways, like a lot of the things that we have in the game, like Rifts, Guild Wars, Battlegrounds, stuff like that, are kind of like that. They're kind of like mini games. There's a bunch of things that we want to do. Right now, our focus just has to be on releasing RavenQuest, like the global release. We can't get too side distracted on stuff, but there's a lot of things that we're very excited about that can really bring like an exciting new reach into the game. Have you seen Cambria's event with part of their reward pool in USD, which scaled up as people spent money? Would like to know your thoughts on that. I haven't digged into it. I've been following some of the stuff with is it Cambria or Cambria? I think it's Cambria, right? But I will look into that. Or actually, if you can DM me a link of a breakdown, that'd be amazing. We are doing essentially that actually with phase 3, where the landowner pool will grow based on the land sale. So the landowner pool, essentially the amount of lands can grow by about, I guess 30% technically, but the rewards can grow 100%, right? So really the idea with that is we want to make sure that landowners are getting bigger cuts. They're getting bigger proportions based on more landowners coming in versus more landowners coming in, their proportions get smaller, right? We don't want that at all. And we, you know, in the end of the day, we really don't need to do this because we know our next land sale is going to sell out. We know what's there and what people are wanting. If we did a land, like, and this is assuming we do like a 1 per person maximum, can't even buy it if you already have land. Like we're not, if we were like doing like a up to 5 or something, we're not worried about that at all, but we want to make sure that landowners feel like, oh, sweet, I'm getting more rewards because more people are involved in RavenQuest now and the future of that. That's really important to us. So we're kind of doing something similar. I do think there's really cool models like League and Dota have done, where it's like, sell a collection of skins and half of it goes towards like the prize pool for a tournament stuff. I think there's really cool stuff we can do with that, where it's like each week a portion of sales just in general, or maybe we do like whatever, right, could go towards like the Guild War tournaments each week or whatever, right? I think that's a really cool model. Lakes. Too long? Are you fishing for AMA compliments? Definitely not. It's because I'm not that guy, man. But it's definitely because I know some people don't like how long they are, and I've voiced that before, and that really is it. I know a lot of you guys do love it. So to be clear, I know that I know majority of the community loves that I do long AMAs and connect with you guys every week and share so much. So I know most of you guys love it. I'm just saying, I know some people also don't like it. Sorry, just a quick question. I used to play some old MMORPG, and don't ever apologize for questions. That's what this is for. I love questions. I used to play some old MMORPGs like Ultima Online, finding tons of cool similarities, and I love it. Yes, I'm glad you see that. One of the cool things of that game was some hiding perks. For example, if you had a warrior holding a 2-hand weapon and you had max lumberjacking skill, you would get a hidden bonus. Do we have some things like that here? Not like that model, not that exact model, but we've talked about it before. There are a lot of hidden secrets in RavenQuest in the world. There was one that took in Raven Dawn like 8 months to be uncovered, and people literally thought it was just not working. And then one person uncovered it, and oh my God, it was chaos when that one person uncovered it, because everyone was begging them to share. But we still have things in the game that have still yet to be uncovered. And so there are a lot of hidden things in the game that you will see through your experience. And I can tell you, there are still a lot of things that have never been uncovered, and we will continue to add things like that because we love doing that kind of stuff. Stress test people should be able to get land first. Oh, you little weasel. Yeah, it looks like I did follow some of like the numbers and stuff from Cambria. Happy to see that they did have a successful test. Can you explain to Luke what you said about lands? Because I'm not happy with my $50 airdrop pool. the part about, yeah, getting them bigger and bigger reward. Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of landowners literally were like, wait, this must be wrong. We got too much rewards. They must have done it wrong. And then as they're running through all the math, they're like, oh, wait, this is actually what we get. This is sick. Again, in the end of the day, 25.25% of our entire ecosystem, our entire supply is dedicated to landowners. That's really important to us. And we've always said, like, land is our cornerstone of the game, of the ecosystem, of everything. And that really gets me in my next part as well, that I'll share more on here. Let me just catch up with questions and I'll share some other pretty big alpha for landowners here. This one's for you. Please give more engagement. That is so cute. A capybara Pikachu. If it was a capybara Raichu, I would lose my mind. Will RavenQuest be able to connect to any other wallets besides IMX in the future? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You just wait. We are working on something and you guys are going to be like, it's going to be like the Nicolas Cage gif with the wind blowing through your hair of how just beautiful it is. Yeah. Again, we are not required to only have a mutable passport, anything like that. We will make sure accessibility is, we've talked about it, guys. It's literally in our white paper and our pitch deck, everything. Accessibility is key in games. It is king in games. Key is another way of saying it, but in the end of the day, accessibility is everything, right? Mobile, the biggest thing I want to say is making sure the game doesn't need a GTX or a GeForce 4090 Ti to play the game. That model doesn't work. It's been shown it doesn't work. It works for sticker price games. It doesn't work for free to play games. You annex off 90% of the gamer population around the world. There is, we can talk about why certain games are really successful, but look at some of the most successful games in the world and a big part of why, right? Anyone who's a huge boomer here, like me, can go back to World of Warcraft, right? I'm sure many people from back then remember the war between Final Fantasy XI and World of Warcraft, right? Final Fantasy XI came out first and it was not accessible at all. It required a very strong computer to run it. Incredible game. I loved Final Fantasy XI, huge part of my childhood. World of Warcraft came out. Suddenly all my friends who couldn't play Final Fantasy XI with me because their computers were not good enough to run it, suddenly everyone was able to play WoW and suddenly everybody's playing WoW. Accessibility is king. Look at Stardew Valley, look at Minecraft, look at Fortnite. Like, there are so many billions of examples. It's not just subjective examples. There is so much data to back this too on how important accessibility is. And I think a lot of games are missing that mark. They're not understanding how important that is. And yeah, it is king. And it's a very important part of what we're doing here. There you go. You guys got the Nicolas Cage gif. Let's go. There's an art to pixelated games. Big fan of those graphics. Totally agree, man. And like, people say like, oh, pixel art, like it's niche or whatever. Yeah. Say that to Minecraft, say that to Stardew Valley, say that to some of like the biggest games in the world. And yeah, obviously Minecraft is not whittled down to, it's because it's accessible and because it's pixel art. Obviously the accessibility was a huge part of it. Everyone could play it everywhere on anything. But it obviously, brought some really cool things and stuff to the game genre as well. But there are lots of examples of games. Pixel art, it's special. It's special. It has so much heart. It has so much character to it. And yeah, let me scroll. League of Legends also became popular because of accessibility. There's a key one that I missed. Thank you so much. League of Legends is another incredible example. RavenQuest movie in 2026. Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, sir. That's one of the incredible powers. I think that's going to come out of AI. Like, we use AI for quite a bit of stuff in the studio. But that is one of the incredible things is, a lot of people already saw that Coke did their Christmas commercial this year with AI, and it's still not perfect yet. And it's still not there yet. And, but there are some incredible things that, like, the idea of making a RavenQuest like animated series or anime or movie and stuff, the idea of in a year or two that you can just do that with AI when you don't have $100 million budget or a $10 million budget to do an animated series, but being able to make like a world of content around that with AI is so incredible. And, you know, we talk about a lot in our studio because we utilize AI and we're also growing consistently. And, you know, when you look at big studios, all they care about is the bottom line. They're going to let go of people and replace it with AI. That's just a reality. But for smaller studios, you know, studios with, you know, 10, 50, 100, 500, even under 1,000 people, there's a different way to use new technology, right? And it's not how do we cut out jobs to replace them with AI. It's how do we accelerate what we can do and what we're able to do, right? You know, you look at a studio that puts out a movie, right? Like Minecraft movie, World of Warcraft movie, you know, Arcane, incredible show, by the way. And they're able to do that because they have millions and millions of dollars of cash on hand, right? Tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars of cash on hand, right? But it's so cool that studios with 100 staff that could never imagine doing it, like an animated series around their universe, could in a year or maybe even less, right? Seeing how far it's come and just, they can now do this kind of stuff they couldn't do before, right? And in the end of the day, like you do an animated series, you can't just do it all with AI. You're still going to need production people. You're still going to need people involved. Those are now people that now have jobs, right? Because now you're able to do something at 100th the cost than it was before that you couldn't do before. And now you can do it. This is a whole ethical discussion on AI. I'm not going to get into the full discussion because there's a lot of pros and cons to it. What I always come back down to is it's inevitable. That's just the reality of it. It's like manufacturing. It's like the printing press. Yeah, tens of thousands, 100,000 people that scribed books and the Bible and stuff. Yeah, they lost their position, but they got to go do new things. Same with manufacturing. But the net result is it's inevitable. You can't avoid it. There's no reason to be, you know, there's nothing you can really do about it. But clear regulation is really important for sure. I'm very pro heavy regulation on it. I think it is important to make sure things are done ethically and done right. But it's an accelerator and it should be used as such. And yeah, there'll be big studios that fire a bunch of people because they can replace it with AI because they're already doing everything that they can do, right? They're doing all these avenues that they want to go down. But for smaller studios, it's incredible, right? The idea that someone can bring their game vision to life with 5 employees instead of 100 employees is incredible. AI NPCs and RavenQuest. We talked about that earlier, King Tom, actually. Netflix is losing that gem. Sorry, what do you mean, Rick? I love the quote, AI will not replace jobs, but a person with using AI will. Exactly. And it's the same idea with manufacturing. You know, a machine won't replace their job, but the person who knows how to use the machine will. It just creates new things, right? I go back a lot, like how many people are artists nowadays thanks to us modernizing other shit industries, modernizing, you know, manufacturing, modernizing, printing books, modernizing all these things, modernizing mining, extracting the materials, cutting down trees, right? How many people got to go from those jobs to much more interesting and fun jobs? And yes, it's always scary at the time when new technology comes up. But like, for example, you know, think about how many accountants used to write everything down on ledgers and paper and how much work went into that. And think about how many of those things got replaced with Excel, right? But what did that lead to? Completely new avenues opening up and new possibility. Bump, teeth went a bit wrong in the Coke commercial, hands improved a lot. Yeah, I mean, the Coke commercial is not perfect, but it is crazy how far it's come compared to what a year ago was. It was awful a year ago. By the way, Bump is our lead world designer. He's one of our oldest staff. He's been with me every step of the way. That is one of those guys that I've talked about before. But our art director and our lead world designer or world director, Bump and Eric, they were 2 of my first 3 hires ever. They've been with me every step of the way since we were a very small team of 3 to 4 people at the time. They've been with me every step of the way, trusting me and building the world since day one. So give a shout out to Bump in there. We don't give a lot of staff colors in the Discord because they just get bumped. Like when a bug happens, they just message every staff member and it's annoying as hell. But call out to Bump in the Discord here. True OG. A lot of people will get fired, but that's just how it goes. If you don't do it, you'll be left in the dust. On the other sides, small studios will be able to afford hiring more people because of being able to do more. You nailed it. You nailed it. And, it's a very delicate conversation. And again, we utilize AI for some stuff in-house, especially for for localization. It's amazing. But, we never planned to localize into Portuguese. We couldn't afford it at the time. And we were able to do it because of AI, but we still hired 3 people to do proofreading of the localization and making sure it was done well. But that was something that we never could have done. We never could have hired those 3 roles if not for AI, because we couldn't hire 20 localizers to do it, right? We couldn't afford it. And this was back in the day. And, now we have budget for stuff like that. But, it allows you to do things. And then it did mean we hired new roles, right? And now those are all full-time staff with us. Even we still do localization for new things, of course, but the bulk of it was done, but we found new things for them to do, right? And we now have them involved in other ways. Viz was actually the lead localizer. You guys see her a lot in here. She's now a community manager, and she organizes stuff within the studio. And yeah, I love that. How many are on the team now? We essentially, I believe, it's always like over 70 full-time now in-house. This is not including outside contractors that we work with. The studio's grown a lot. Since Ravenon's release, we've over doubled in size. And it's all dedicated to the world we're building. Blazar, we actually just did a teaser. You were asking about music. Now every region in the game has its own music. Mary is top tier community entertainer. Yeah, she is. All their CMs are awesome though. Some of them just have more front facing roles, right? And Mary's is a very front facing role, engaging with you guys and stuff like that and gathering feedback and stuff. But we have so many community managers behind the scenes guys that are making things get done. Will Zara, JCS, Dharma, Silver, Vivs, we have so many CMs that are more behind the scenes, moving things along. And without them, things would be absolute utter chaos. It's one of those roles that I say this about community managers many times, that it's many times a thankless job because you're not making the next piece of content that everyone's ooh, look at this, new content or this new thing. You're not getting as much of that, but without them, things couldn't move or happen. And so they're incredibly, incredibly important. And it just doesn't, some are just more behind the scenes. But shout out to them. Again, without them, we would be an absolute shit show. So, back to the LAN stuff. So I said I was going to share one more piece of alpha on that, guys. Again, it always comes back to, we want to always under promise and over deliver. And we've done that every step of the way. And with that, we've talked about even our quest token, how it was made for RavenQuest. It was made for one game. We decided as a studio, all of our Web3 future, as we grow as a studio, as we have more titles coming out, as the studio continues to grow. Because as you guys know, we are looking to grow by about 30 full time with our Portugal expansion of the studio, opening a studio in Portugal. We are very much growing the studio right now. We're trying to do it at a good pace to make sure we don't grow too fast, keep that culture and keep that passion. But with that, we decided that, sorry, I'll just move away from Mike. With that, we want you guys to know that is why we're doing that with the quest token. Yes, we could have made a studio token that we could have sold as well. We could have made new tokens for each project to raise money on, but we're you know what, let's make sure that everybody who has quest is hell yeah, there is such a long future in this, such a strong future in this. They're not doing this thing where they make another token that they're now selling. And we're well, what about what we bought? We don't want that. And we're doing the same with land. It'll be utilized in all games as well. But on that, we have made a decision as a studio that we want to provide maximum value to our landowners, and we will not be doing a community pre-sale on the token. And instead, all of this is still going to be dedicated towards landowners. And we are doing that because we want to make sure that the maximum value is given to the tokens from landowners, and it is not cut at its ankles, because we then do a community sale right before TGE and raise a bunch of money on that and do a discount around all that kind of stuff. We want it to be landowners are the ones that get token basically as a community pre-sale, if that makes sense. They're getting the land, they're getting the rewards from the land early before RavenQuest release, and they are the ones that they're getting those benefits. So we wanted to mention that because we've been getting asked so much about a community pre-sale, if we're going to do one and stuff like that, and we just want this to be, we want landowners to be the ones that get that early benefit of getting token. So yeah, glad to see you guys are all hyped about that. Again, we are going to always, guys, make sure that we work so hard to underpromise things, and as things continue to move forward, that we can bring more value, we will over deliver. And this is just another example. And I think the last like 4 AMAs, we've dropped new things that we're over delivering on and bringing to you guys. So if you guys are like, hey, I'm really excited about the Quest token, the game, the ecosystem around it to come, all the things involved in it. And you were wanting a community pre-sale, get land. You're going to get the NFT. You're going to get the in-game utility. You're going to get the token that comes from it with the drops. You're going to get all of that as a part of it. So landowners, the only people that qualify the pre-sale, is that right? No, I'm saying that we will not do a pre-sale. And landowners they're going to be the only ones that get those early tokens from any form of purchasing or financial backing. They will be the only ones that get that. That we won't do a community pre-sale, because really the way that we see it is that it's just kind of like, we would rather a landowner is like, okay, I'll get a second piece of land instead of, oh, I also need to put some aside now for a community pre-sale. We don't want to do that. Get land. It's going to be our holy grail. It's going to be the cornerstone of everything we do. Future ecosystem, current ecosystem, in-game utility, future game utility. It's gonna be everything around land. That's our focus. My AirPods have just died along AMA. That's the goal. I want to do AMAs until everyone's headsets and AirPods die. That is the new standard that we are building here. When land sale then? Yeah, I talked a little about it earlier. Very soon. It will not be before phase 3. It'll not be after phase 3. I guess I should just say it'll be during phase 3. We want to first have the product out there for you guys all to play. And then we will accept your guys' support. And really, I hope you guys understand why we're doing that. It's because we feel like there needs to be a new standard model that is done. We hope that we continue to shape the industry into that kind of model. And that's why we're doing it. It obviously is not beneficial to us. Like, I'm just going to be 100% honest. We know we would sell more land if we did the day before phase 3. Because people are going to be like, oh my God, I want to claim it for tomorrow and all that. We know we would. Like, it only hurts us. There's no benefit to us to doing it later. But we want to set that standard and set that expectation for other games. And we hope other games follow suit. And we hope, and we also hope other games continue to come out and they set new standards. And we're like, oh, that is sick. Let's look to do the same as them there. Like rising tide bring all the boats up, or whatever that phrase is. That's how we feel. And we want to lead the way on that, and everyone else follow, and then other people lead the way as well in their own ways, and we follow, and we all build each other up. And that was our mission coming into Web3. We wanted to set a new standard. We wanted to do things differently. This wasn't just a buzz phrase. This was something that we really meant and was really important to us. Shoot, there's something I was going to mention. Now I'm forgetting it. Oh no, I was going to mention something on that and I forgot now. Oh, well, maybe it's for next AMA then. Black Friday land sale opportunity to buy 2 weeks early for 2x the price. Black Friday increased price. That build didn't even win the Rift tournament. But yeah, in the end of the day, we're always doing balanced archetypes. I think a big thing for us is looking at more counterplay in Rifts. Like, how do we make certain archetypes counter other archetypes stronger? But in the end of the day, balances will always be part of an MMORPG, right? It's really important that we're constantly making adjustments, making sure the meta stays constantly changing. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, for the application side, we probably want to open this up earlier so that we can already start going. Like, if we do want to do the sale earlier, like you guys were unanimously requesting earlier, instead of us doing it at the end, you guys want to make sure that you guys can use it during phase 3 and get more than just like the landowner pool drops and stuff like that. Like, you guys want to be utilizing it. If we want to do it earlier, we probably would need to open the application part earlier, just so that we can go through those applications, because it took a long time last time, and we know we're going to have more applications this time. And so we've still had so many applications going into that old form, even though we said it was like done. Like people are finding like a 2-month-old post and still applying. And so we probably need to open that up earlier, but not do it until, but then we can like be reviewing throughout as they come in instead of all at the end, if that makes sense. So we probably do want to do that. But it wouldn't matter like when you apply, but no, Miss Royale, I didn't. But it will be a lower discount than the last sale. All sales always decrease in discount. Oh God, dude, NFT, my prayers to you. Translating for almost 3 hours, dude. I never expect you to do the entire AMA. If you're ever like, oh, I'm just exhausted, I've been translating for 3 hours, but you know, I appreciate you like no one else. Yeah, I tell him all the time, but the fact that he's here like every AMA live on Twitch, live translating for the Portuguese audience, like he's a special one. Everyone, actually, yeah, it's just Dude NFT in Discord. Tag him, give him some love, guys. In the end of the day, like while you guys are in here, because you know I'm fluent English, he is bringing us to more people, sharing about the title with more people. Yeah, dude's an absolute gem. Everyone give him a quick thank you. Give me 1 sec here. Oh my God, more leaks. Oh, I just thought of another thing. Guys, we have some pretty epic RavenQuest boxes coming out. We wanted to do, there's a lot of merch boxes out there and they're just the same boring stuff. You know, it's the same hat or maybe a t-shirt and it's all like, but you know, it's the same thing. We wanted to do a really sick RavenQuest merch box. And like, this is in every way sick. From the moment you get the box, it is a treasure chest. It is not just a little paper box, cardboard box. It's a treasure chest with our artwork all around it. And wait, I have a bunch of, hold on. I have a bunch of like teaser stuff I can share. Give me 1 sec. Let me drop a few photos in here. Okay. These are videos. I need to make sure that they're ones that I can share. These aren't the best videos, guys. I do apologize. They're not like the best lighting, but I'm just going to share like a few things. There is so much in these boxes. There are tons of different stickers, between monk stickers to RavenQuest stickers to like meme stickers. There are posters. There's like our launch wallpaper, a monk poster. There is a RavenQuest flag in it. Like you guys have seen some of the flags in my office, like, or banners, I guess is a better word. The box itself is artwork all around it. Every box we've done, well, this is the first RavenQuest box, but they're always their own unique artwork. The boxes themselves are very special, limited print run. We do, of course, have RavenQuest hoodie, t-shirt, stuff like that. We also have currency in it. So there's actual silver currency in a nice little currency pouch. We have so many cool things in them. We've decided that we are going to be giving some of these away. We don't know exactly how yet. We'll probably do some like that are like, you know, maybe for like landowners, maybe the next land sale, maybe for like the top people in phase 3. The top performers in phase 3. We will probably do like maybe some like raffles and stuff as well, but we want to get some of these in your guys' hands too. Also maybe some physical Raven cards, some of the first edition printed Raven cards. There's a lot of cool stuff that we want to do around these. So I wanted to kind of leak that a little bit with you guys. Again, these will be all limited edition. We're doing one print run of them. So in the end of the day, we won't be selling these or anything like that. We want to get these as rewards for you guys, further showing just what you guys mean to the community. And again, these are not little merch boxes. There is so much in these things and so many unique things that are just different from what a standard merch box is. Because for us, it's like, we don't want to just be another company sending out another merch box with the same old boring stuff. We want to do something really unique. We want to have as much unique stuff in there as possible. And most of that is not shown. And I don't want to spoil everything in the box, but it's a lot of really cool stuff that's like just very special to what we're doing, and things that you'll see and be like, wow, that is unique and that is exclusive, and it won't be made again. And yeah, like every single thing in the box is new and exclusive. And we plan to do that with any future boxes, stuff like that. Gushy. Yeah, we'll probably do a few different ways that these are distributed. Because again, we don't have a ton of them, and we wanted to keep them very unique and exclusive. But ultimately, we'll probably do like a few different ways that players can get these. Like we'll have like, something for like top players, probably like, some raffles out to landowners or some system like that. We'll have to figure out how we do that best. Because we don't have a ton of them. If we had like 1,000 of them, yeah, we'd be like, okay, everybody with a large land or bigger, but we wanted to keep this very unique and exclusive. And so, we can't get one to everybody. But also, no. I mentioned that we have something really cool coming for landowners and monk owners in the future here. But I'm not going to share that just yet. We need to save a little stuff for later. I've already shared so many things that are coming for you guys, but we're just like, it's like every week we're like cooking up new ideas, and it's constantly not like, hey, how can we like monetize these people further with a new thing? Because all of these things that we're talking about, we can sell all of these. Like we could make 500 of these boxes and sell them out instantly. We could, the new thing that we're talking about that we're not going to share yet, like we could sell them if we wanted to, but we're like, no, how about let's instead just give these to them. And so that's really the goal for us. Not for the top player, please. I'm a very mediocre player. I'm a landowner monk. Yeah. So again, there can be like some for each different thing, right? Can you launch RavenQuest trading card game, please? Mobile like Hearthstone, for example. Oh, we're cooking, brother. We're cooking. Can you ship to Brazil? 100%. We'll be able to ship basically everywhere. There's a few countries that shipping like isn't really possible. Obviously, there's some obvious ones where you literally just can't ship to, but then there's some that's like very likely to get lost and stuff like that. So there'll probably be a few countries, but Brazil would definitely be one of the ones that we ship to for sure. Yeah, I see no reason we wouldn't do like Greece, for example. Yeah, Vans. I think those are all like banging ones. Those are all great examples. Do shipping for North Korea? Yeah, probably not. Unfortunately, we'll probably be on the no list. Okay, let me add these, Will Zara. Thank you. Okay, guys, I'm starting to burn out. We're at about 3 hours. I have one more thing to share. Wait, do I? Oh no, I think I actually shared it all. Guys, I think we nailed it all. Let's do a really quick recap. Phase 3 is December 5th, guys. The airdrop pool will grow based on new adventures. So go get new adventures planned. Share with the world. Let's make this huge. We will have our full like phase 3 dev blog video doing deep dive. Everything will be posted soon. Once that's up, you can also share that and stuff as well. And then yeah, phase 3 is going to be a huge one, guys. It's going to be massive. And God, I can recap it. We talked about like 100 things today. Ultimately, I just want to like, I've said it a million times before, guys, but I really mean it. I look so much forward to these AMAs. I get so excited about them the night before, the morning of, when we go live. There's a reason I do them so long, and it's really just because I love chatting with you guys. I know I'm beating you guys to death with that, but I say it over and over because I really mean it. And I hope you guys understand how much it means to me and the team. And ultimately, like, we've come here to truly look to set a new standard in a lot of ways. And I think the community, or I'm very confident the community that we've built here align very much with that, not only with what we want to do, but also I really feel like the community here is a community that understands the importance of that. And they understand, like, okay, yeah, the meme coin shit, it's interesting, it's wild, it's crazy, but we care about substance, we care about foundation, we care about what really is going to be the future of the space. And we feel like we've built a community here of people that are smart enough to understand that and not get washed away in some of this, the FOMO and the dumb stuff out there, because they can see through it and they understand that this is not sustainable. This is not realistic. Meme coins, it's like the worst EV Vegas odds you can ever have. And yeah, some people are going to get rich. A lot of people are not going to make any money and just lose money. But ultimately, we think we've built a very smart and clever community that sees what the future should be and wants to be a part of that future. And I think that's why I enjoy these AMAs so much, because it just feels like I'm hanging out with a lot of people that align with our vision, align with our goals, and see what the future of the space should be. And that's why these AMAs are so special, and the community we built is so special. And you guys are very important to us, and you guys are the core community we've built so early on. And while this community is going to grow a lot very soon here, we wanted to really build a strong connection with our core community early on. And that's why we didn't look to blow up marketing stuff and all that stuff until release, because we want to build that really close connection with a lot of you. You know, the amount of like meta memes that have started inside the community between members, and how I feel like most of the members that I talk to in the AMAs and see asking questions, like I know you guys on a much deeper level than just a username in Discord. And that's really special to us. And, you know, while we know we're, you know, continuing to grow each week and things are getting bigger and more exciting, and it's just the start of that with global release and what that looks like. It's special to us that there'll always be names where we're like, hey, it's that guy. Like, you know, looking back on how early involved you guys were, and yeah. So anyways, I just wanted to mention that, guys. You guys mean the world to us. Thank you so much for being here. Another 3-hour AMA in the books. I'll be in Discord chatting whenever I'm not working on something that's very mind intensive. You guys know that I'll be in there all the time. But thank you guys so much for joining me. We're going to do a giveaway before this ends. We're going to do a giveaway bot in the tavern here. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to stop the chat here. 1 sec. Thank you guys so much for the kind words, by the way. It really does mean a lot to us. I see all of it. And yeah, it energizes, it energizes us, it motivates us. It's why phase 3 has so much stuff in it. But let's go. How are you today? Wow, that is a really kind question. I'm doing great. It's AMA day, so I'm doing great. Very stressed about how much we have to do before phase 3. But you know, I think some level of that is important, right? It keeps you going hard, keeps you focused on the goal. Yeah. One last funny question. Why is Tavern Like Games on Google Maps shown located in the woods? What is it? What? That's so funny. It's actually like Myra Canyon, which is like a canyon that's behind. That's very funny. I have no idea why. I'm sure I can change that. That is very funny. I'm not actually sure why. It's like in Kelowna, but it's like in the woods in the canyon, like right beside the canyon. I can tell you our studio is not there. With that, guys, that is going to be everything. I hope you guys enjoying the juicy engage points that we drop throughout the AMAs. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for being here. Phase 3 is so close. 1 million quest a day up for grabs. A huge landowner pool up for grabs. A Guild Wars tournament on December 15th, right? I'm not getting the date wrong. 14th, December 14th, a huge Guild Wars tournament where all guilds participating are going to get a share of 100,000 quests, as well as the winning guilds getting 200,000 quests. So make sure to rally your guilds. Guild leaders will be getting additional rewards as well. So if you're an aspiring guild leader, make a guild, build a community, start prepping, start building who that guild's going to be, right? And with that, what would be really cool, Lil Zara, could you look into how we could maybe structure a way that guilds could have their own guild channels or forums or something in our Discord that only their guild members can be in or something? And in a way that we can do it without having to like manually give them each roles or something. Can you look into something that we can maybe do with that? That'd be really cool. But ultimately, guys, start prepping. War is upon us. Phase 3 is upon us. Rewards are upon us. Christmas event is upon us. Yeah, very excited, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to wrap that up for this week's over 3-hour AMA. And I will see you guys again next Tuesday and probably before that as well. But thank you guys so much for being here. And we will see you guys in phase 3. See you guys.